Alright, let's dive into a story about a kid whose talent made him a target from day one. His own brothers tried to humiliate Jin in every way imaginable, but they were about to find out Jin wasn't the same weakling anymore. They tried to beat him up. Because he didn't cower like he was supposed to, but this time, Jin fought back. And he absolutely crushed them. This kid has changed, you see, in his past life. Jin was soft. He chose the patriarch's sword when he was just a boy. When he grew up, everyone expected him to be the most talented swordsman in history. But that's not what happened. Jyn Runcandell had zero talent, and because of that, his older brothers bullied him relentlessly. If you don't have power or talent in this family, you don't survive, so Jin was kicked out, but what seemed like a curse actually saved him. Since he was terrible at swordsmanship, he tried magic instead. And he mastered it instantly. This single choice changed his entire life, leading him to summon the Shadow God. Now pay attention here, because this god offers him a deal. There was a hidden talent inside Jin all along. The poor kid was cursed when he was young. A curse called Blade Illusion had ruined his whole life. Solderet, being a god, was curious to see how Jin would change the world. If that incredible talent was finally unlocked, the contract with Solderet made Jin immune to all curses, and his dormant sword talent exploded into existence. But who knew his talent wasn't enough to survive? All those years he'd lost couldn't be reclaimed, but maybe. The universe is more generous than we think. Jin is reincarnated into his own body 20 years. In the past, he wakes up on the exact same day he was supposed to choose the patriarch's sword. With this new chance to start over, Jin decided to walk the path of power. The right way this time. The boy holds his sword, earning praise from his family. This time, he chose the weapon for himself, 6 years after choosing the balisada. The small boy still couldn't reach the top shelf. He's been living in Storm Castle for some time, and has to stay for 3 more years until he's free. He feels completely trapped. Then, a maid is shocked to discover a dead bird in his room. Jin takes one look at the situation. Knowing only 2 people would do something so twisted and cruel, these 2 people. I know what you're thinking. It's his laughing brothers who don't care about the poor animal. Datona is 9. And the white-haired boy, H-Tona, is also 9. As they cackle at the dead bird, Jin feels a chill. These 2 became cold-blooded murderers in his first life. Right now, they're just children. Even so, they killed a small bird just to mock their own brother. His brothers had no limits. They were trying to provoke Jin, making fun of him for not carrying the balisada. Jin was about to speak when H-Tona swung at him. When his punch was stopped dead, even H-Tona was shocked. Jin was deadly serious. As he landed a hard punch right across his face, he then gave H-Tona a severe beating. Jin barely used any of his real power, but he still completely overwhelmed his brother. Finally, Jin warned his troublesome brothers to stay far away from him. Just then, Khan arrived and was stunned to see Jin standing over his 2 beaten brothers. Jin simply said they had fought among themselves, which is why they were on the ground. A complete and utter lie, of course. Khan wanted to take them to a doctor, but Jin shot down the idea. He took them somewhere else. Jin dragged them out into a heavy storm. It seemed cruel, but he felt it was necessary to show his brothers the consequences of their actions. Khan had no right to question the young master's decision, but strangely, Khan sensed a weird, dark energy coming from the young master, and you and I both know what that means. Khan wondered if Jin had used mana. Realizing Jin was behind his brother's injuries, Khan decided to look into it. Back to the clan patriarch. Meanwhile, at Storm Castle, Jin sees Khan making his move. He figured Khan, their guardian, would report everything directly to the patriarch. Jin guesses Khan must have sensed the shadow force, his secret power source. This came from his deal with the god of darkness, and trust me, this changes everything. It means even in this second life, his hidden dark powers are active, protecting him. Free from the curse that plagued him before, Jin has officially altered history. He's no longer destined to be the clan's worst swordsman, and yeah, he's happy about it. But his next challenge is a big one, facing his father, the Patriarch. After Khan's report, the Patriarch orders the Guardian Knight to assemble the flag bearers. He knows he needs to see his son in person, and you can just feel the tension rising. With all 200 Runcandell family knights at the ready, the clan leader heads for Storm Castle. Mary is completely baffled. They were ordered to gather out of nowhere. Dias, another flag bearer, is just as lost. They were pulled right out of a major battle. Dias suspects it has something to do with the youngest, Jyn. Neither of them understands why the Patriarch would drop everything to see his son. Luna cuts them off, telling them to stay quiet, but Mary is still confused. She just can't see why Jin's special talent is so important. Back in the castle, a maid informs Jyn that his father has arrived. The boy wonders just what the Guardian Knight told him. It must be about his power. A power that isn't mana or aura. This meeting is to see if Jyn can benefit the clan. The Patriarch arrives, flanked by his knights. Sword in hand, he summons H-Dona and Detona. Once they arrive, he immediately asks them to account for their mistakes. The brothers try to play it smart, claiming they did nothing wrong. They say Jyn ambushed them with a strange, magic-like power, but it's all a lie. They're just trying to frame their younger brother, but this pathetic trick doesn't work. The Patriarch gives both of his sons a chilling piece of advice. With a mindset that weak, they are nothing but cowards. He orders Jyn to be brought in. Jyn comes face to face with his father, Jyn Runcandell, the strongest man alive. He's so powerful they call him a divine star knight, a literal demigod. But after gaining all that power, Jyn's emotions have all but vanished. All he cares about is the clan's strength and its future. In his first life, Jyn was worthless to him. But this time around, let me tell you, the boy walks in with a whole new confidence. He enters as the flag bearers watch, knowing no one can look down on him anymore. He kneels before his father. Jyn asks why his son called him Patriarch instead of father. The boy simply says he felt it was proper to show his leader respect. The Divine Knight then asks Jyn the exact same question he asked his brothers. Jyn, clenching his fist, gives a very different answer. Their only mistake was in how they sought revenge, the Runcandell clan's first rule. Always get payback, no matter who stands in your way. Hearing this, Jyn is silent. He orders all the knights and flag bearers to leave the room. Everyone is stunned. Jyn actually passed the Patriarch's test. Mary is in awe of her little brother. The heavy door slams shut, and Jyn finally gets to the point: magic. He reminds Jyn that magic is forbidden, as it dulls their skill with the sword. Then he asks directly, where did Jin's power come from? Because if it's mana, there will be punishment. Jyn considers his options, and yeah, you and I both know our boy is in serious trouble. When asked if his power comes from the god of darkness, Jyn just says he doesn't fully get his own abilities either, before giving his father a little taste of his power. Turns out, it's the same power the clan's very first Patriarch once wielded. And just like that, you can see Kieran recognizes the shadow force. He's amazed his son can use both Balisada and the shadow aura. He wonders if Jyn is destined to be the next Patriarch. Tyron already knows about the god of shadows, revealing Solderet once made a pact with Tamer, the first Patriarch, which let their clan prosper. But after Tamer's death, the shadow god never lent his power to a Runcandell again, until Jyn, who now commands the shadow force. Jyn, getting curious, asks his father a gutsy question. He asks if the god of shadows is stronger than him. Kieran thinks for a second, then says he doesn't know, since he's never actually fought a god. But let's be real, his confidence is off the charts. Only the world's strongest man could say that. Kieran actually likes the question and pats his son's head, clearly proud of the boy. He asks Jyn how he plans to use these incredible powers. The kid claims he'll use them for the clan's well-being, but Kieran just laughs, seeing right through that lie. This is the same kid who thrashed his brothers in a storm. That answer was a huge mistake, so Jyn tells the truth this time. He'll use the shadow force for himself. Kieran isn't even mad. In fact, he praises the kid for his honesty and decides to keep a close eye on him from now on. With that, the intense father-son meeting is over. Jyn is exhausted but satisfied. He never has to hide his powers again. This was a massive win. Jyn thinks back to how he was basically a ghost in his past life, but now things are finally looking up. That night, his older sister Mary gives him a unique gift. She cooked him a nice meal as a farewell present. Jyn doesn't remember her ever being this nice. He opens the box, and inside is a burning phoenix heart. Okay, I know what you're thinking, a weird gift for a 7-year-old. But that's just Mary for you. She's a flag bearer and a 6-star knight. She's got tons of titles, but her most famous one, the Madwoman of the South. She might look like a normal girl, but she's got absolutely monstrous power. This gift is an invitation. Get strong fast and come challenge me later. Eating a phoenix heart is a huge cheat code, granting total fire immunity and a massive power boost. Jyn can't help but wonder if one day he'll be strong enough to summon a phoenix all by himself. His maid Jilly brings him the soup she prepared. But before he can dig in, his 2 troublemaker brothers are staring at his meal. You can see they want some, but they're way too proud to ask, so Jyn offers them a deal. Do him a favor and they can have the soup, the favor. An annoying digging task, but Hyona and Daytona were willing to do anything for a taste of that soup. Deep underground lies an incubation chamber, holding the body of some mysterious, dark being. After a ton of digging, the boys are finally done. They stumble back, a complete mess, ready for their reward. Too bad for them, Jyn already ate most of it. All he left was a single teaspoon for them both. You and I just witnessed a true savage at work. As his brothers absolutely lose it over his dirty trick, Jyn arrives at the spot they dug for him. He's impressed by their work and figures a simple spell will do the rest. He can finally use his mana, shattering a hollow wall and finding the secret library. The hidden library of the Runcandell clan, a place kept from him in his first life. There's a code to get inside, and Jyn confidently speaks the words. He chants his request to the console. The door creaks open. After conquering the world, the Runcandell clan stored relics from their enemies here. Only chosen members could enter, and in his past life, he learned the phrase from Dais. And yeah, that little tidbit came in clutch this time around. But even Jyn is stunned when he spots a murky figure floating inside a capsule. Seeing the man's scaly skin, he realizes this being is not human. And then it clicks, this is Murakin, the legendary shadow dragon. The old stories say he was defeated by the first patriarch and fell into a deep sleep. Jyn stands before this living legend, searching for the ancient books he needs. After finding them, he begins his research, trying to unlock the secrets of the Kungan clan. But the ancient text is way too complex for him to understand. He can't risk taking the book, so he pulls out his supplies to copy it by hand. Day after day, he would study his notes from the library at home. But one day, things got complicated. Now, pay attention, this is where it gets crazy. Someone else decided to visit the library. The dark dragon Murakin has woken up. Jyn tries to keep his cool, remembering this monster is technically a clan ally. He tries to be polite, but calling him dragon just makes him angry. Murakin is salty about being a guardian for the Runcandells and complains about his fate. The only reason he woke up, he sensed a strange power coming from the boy. Murakin is shocked to find shadow energy inside Jyn, a power that shouldn't be possible. That kind of power only comes from a contractor of Solderet, so there's no mistaking it. Jyn decides to go for it, unleashing his power and stunning the dragon. Murakin stammers, then collapses, disappointed the new contractor is just a little kid. He sadly explains that he made a promise to the god of darkness, so Jyn is his partner. Deciding to explain the details later, he introduces himself properly. He shifts into his true form, a massive, intimidating dragon. Murakin is a servant of the god of shadows, the last of his ancient line. He made a promise thousands of years ago to serve Solderet's contractor. Jyn introduces himself as the youngest Runcandell and greets the legendary beast. The Storm Castle was actually named after Murakin, who ruled these lands for ages. That is, until he lost a fight to the first Runcandell patriarch. But it's clear now they were never truly enemies, not at all. Solderet's contractors are always given a guardian dragon. People wondered where the shadow dragon went, not knowing he was just asleep. Jyn realizes he's found his guardian, and thanks to his human form, he can get some answers. For months after that, Jyn visited the library as often as he could. He wanted to know why the first patriarch and Murakin even fought. But the goofy dragon can't remember the real reason why they clashed. More importantly, he's developed a serious addiction to strawberry pies. Jyn explains he's been copying the ancient books, but can't understand most of it. Murakin is still impressed by his effort, noting most kids would have given up. You and I know he's a prodigy, but Jyn just says he's average for a Runcandell. Parents, Jyn is ambitious, aiming to surpass them all. He can't help but wonder. How strong was the legendary Tamer at his age, the man called the strongest in history? Jyn asks Murakin straight up, how does he stack up against the great Tamer? Murakin admits that even he didn't get it at such a young age. Tamer didn't learn from books. He tells the boy he has the same raw talent as the very first patriarch. So Jyn asks, can I ever match the flames of Tamer's legendary power? Murakin tells him to keep training, get stronger, and one day he might just surpass him. To hype him up, Murakin shares Solderet's secret second name. The shadow god is also known as Solderet the Infinite. Why? Because his power has no limit, which means Jyn's potential is just as boundless. Now, to get him motivated, Murakin decides it's time to teach him a brand new move. A vital skill for any shadow user, the shadow force release. But it's risky, so Murakin warns him to pay close attention. First step, let out all his mana. Jyn is confused, so Murakin breaks it down. Shadow force release is controlled by two core skills. The first is mana release, and the second is mana transfer. Mastering this usually takes 3 years, time the boy just doesn't have. But then Jyn unleashes a perfect mana release that honestly looks just like a Rasengan. And for some reason, he can already use mana transfer too. Murakin is absolutely floored. He just found himself a 1 in a billion genius. With both steps cleared, it's time to learn the real shadow force release. Since all shadows are born from Solderet's power, Jyn is his one and only contractor. The library floods with darkness as Murakin shows Jyn what he's capable of. Jyn is in awe, finally seeing the true, terrifying power of his magic. Meanwhile, the scene cuts to flag-bearer Luna, nearly done with her mission. With only 4 months left, she stands over a field of dead monsters. And she's just thinking about what kind of gift her little brother might like. 6 months after Murakin woke up, Hitona and Datona left the castle. Now the young master gets a surprise cake from Jill for his 9th birthday. He just wants everyone there to enjoy a slice with him. But then Khan rushes in, apologizing for the urgent interruption. Lady Luna, the boy's older sister, has arrived for a private visit. She's the clan's first flag-bearer, a master knight and the strongest heir. But here's the thing, unlike the others, she has zero interest in becoming the patriarch. In his past life, she treated him like he didn't even exist, a total stranger. So you and I both know this sudden, friendly visit feels incredibly strange. Did something happen? Jyn worries she found out about his secret training. But Luna just pats his head, showing him a kindness he has never seen. She's even asking about his health. Jyn admits he's completely on guard. Luna realizes her brother thinks they're enemies, that she just sees him as a rival. The thought clearly pains her, and she tries to comfort her baby brother. Then she does something unbelievable. Luna apologizes, kneeling before him. She shows him absolute respect and asks to speak with him alone. Jyn, though totally surprised, puts on a smile and agrees to meet with her. Once they're alone, Luna reveals she rushed home for a very important reason. watching his every move, just waiting for him to leave the castle to strike. The once cold sister fears Jyn will be crushed by her family's toxic politics. She can't stand the Runcandell clan's traditions, and her words make Jyn see why Luna gave up her own ambition to become the family's patriarch. But here's the thing, she never said any of this to him in his past life. He wonders if he was simply unworthy of her concern back then. No, it's because she knows his siblings are about to make a deadly move on him. Jyn steels himself, refusing to back down from the coming fight. Luna stresses this isn't for her own gain, it's to protect him. Her little brother agrees, then drops a bombshell. He already survived an assassin. Now watch this, Luna's power explodes in pure fury. How dare they? To think someone would try to kill her brother inside the Storm Castle. She demands the assassin's name, but Jyn calms her, saying he's okay. He's just glad to finally have an ally in this family of snakes. Luna pulls him into a hug, apologizing for the hell their family puts him through. In that moment, Jyn realizes he never knew his sister could be so kind. Not wanting to ruin his birthday, she gives him the perfect gift, a blue pendant. She puts it on him. This necklace has a secret. It can summon her one time. A single-use emergency call. She tells him to use it only if he's in real danger. For a moment, they share a warm birthday celebration before she has to leave. With her duties calling, she says goodbye. Later, Jyn heads for the library. He shows the necklace to Muraken, who is absolutely stunned by what he sees. This isn't just a treasure, it's a legendary artifact of the Demon Beast King. An item people would gladly die for. It even blocks weaker spells. Not only that, but it amplifies the wearer's own magic. What a gift. Jin's even more shocked to learn that Luna likely already sensed Muraken's energy. But she kept silent, all to protect her little brother's secret. Okay, I know what you're thinking. His sister is an absolute beast, and she's on his side. She knows something is up with them, but decides to trust Jyn completely. Jyn once thought the first 10 years of this life would be slow and boring. But in this short time stuck inside the castle, he couldn't have been more wrong. He's gained powerful gifts and formed real bonds with incredible people. These are the very things his past self could only have dreamed of having. Finally, the day arrives. The boy turns 10. He spars with Khan before he has to leave. His immense strength for his age completely blows the Guardian Knight away. Now Khan gets it. He finally sees why the Patriarch is watching this kid so closely. Jyn looks more like the master, coolly assessing if Khan is worthy to teach him. After their session, Khan gives the young master a bow of genuine respect. Their training ends today, as Jyn is finally prepared to leave the Storm Castle. During the fight, Jyn felt the Phoenix heart activate. He's basically fireproof now. He's thrilled that his powers are finally starting to come online. Soon, he'll absorb all of the Phoenix's power. Tomorrow, a new journey begins. Jilly sees his mountain of books and is told to pack every single one. As always, he asks for his favorite snack, strawberry pie, then takes a walk. You and I both know where he's going, to the secret library to meet Muraken. Jyn asks how they'll keep in touch, but to a dragon, that's hardly a problem. Muraken explains that even though he's weaker, he'll power up as Jyn gets stronger. That's how a guardian dragon works. He wants the boy to become a legend, just like Tamer, but Jyn has a question about his clan. He remembers Solderet mentioning the Randell clan were once spell swords. In fact, their first leader was the greatest spell sword user who ever lived. But now that's just a myth. The clan is all about pure swordsmanship. They swore off magic entirely, thanks to a pact from 1,000 years ago. So while they once saw Muraken as a guardian, now they probably hate him. Too bad, because in the old days, bringing him back would have made Jyn incredibly rich. Then again, knowing his clan, maybe they'd have stiffed him anyway. Muraken makes a promise. He will follow Jyn absolutely anywhere he goes. As for his capsule, he's just gonna leave a fake magical image of himself inside. An illusion so powerful, no one will ever know he's gone. It won't last forever with his fading power, but it'll hold until Jin grows up. To celebrate, Jin brought Muraken a very special gift. The Shadow Dragon is more than happy to kick back, drink, and party. He'll even meet Jilly if it means scoring more of her strawberry pies. As Jin prepares to leave for his family's home, he's warned that life is about to get intense. Jilly can't cook for him anymore, but she promises she'll be there when he needs her. Two Guardian Knights, Jerome and Holtz, arrive to be his official escort. And so their journey begins. At the close of the 18th century, Jin departs the Storm Castle for his ancestral home, the Garden of Swords. But along the way, they run into a massive snowstorm. Now pay attention here, because this is where everything goes sideways. The carriage stops. Jerome and Holtz warn Jin to stay put and ambush. Jilly is confident the 7-star Knights can handle it, but they're outnumbered 20-1. But Jin sees the truth in an instant, telling her they have to run now. The Guardian Knights, they're the ones who betrayed them. That means they're working with traitors, and this entire carriage is a trap. Jilly unleashes her full power, desperate to protect Jin for the clan's future. The carriage explodes just as they manage to leap clear of the blast. She tries to take the blame, but Jin tells her something bigger is at play. He suspects the people attacking the Knights are not enemies, they're actually allies. The fact that they were allowed to escape so easily makes him question the attackers' true motive. The Utah clan, sorcerers from the Meal Kingdom, and the Black Mercenary Group, they've all shown up to guarantee the boys' safety. Vice Captain Mirka confirms it. His mission is to protect Jin at all costs. Meanwhile, Jerome and Holtz are getting completely overwhelmed in the fight. Because they're fakes, they aren't 7-star Knights at all. As they're surrounded, the imposter scoffs that he won't talk to a Runcandell servant. And Jin, cold as ice, gives the order you and I were waiting for: kill one, the other will talk. Jilly moves like a flash, cutting down one of the men with a series of brutal strikes. After he falls, she precisely severs both arms of the second imposter, making him scream. With both his arms gone, she ends the fight and drags him right to Jin. They messed with the wrong kid. Jill unleashes her protective powers. Don't be fooled, she's a loyal 7-star martial artist. And whoever planned Jin's assassination clearly should have sent stronger knights. The limbless assassin warns them that the time of the Runcandells is over. But watch this, Jin surprisingly agrees with him, calling his clan arrogant and self-serving. He says they only care about their own reputation, not what's best for the clan. The imposter then reveals his connection to the Zills, a sorcerer clan controlling a huge part of the world. They are the Runcandell's biggest rivals, focused entirely on mastering magic. After Temur died, the Zill clan forced a pact that banned all magic use. This one move sealed away the entire family's magical potential for good. The Zills have been the Runcandell's mortal enemy for more than 1,000 years. And this imposter is just one of their pawns. Jin sees no use for him, so he lets Jill finish it. The man begs for a quick death, but Jin offers no mercy. He starts thinking about what could have prompted an attack like this. More importantly, he suspects a Zill extremist acted alone, not the entire clan. And the fact that Jill was tricked by their disguise means someone else is pulling the strings. The boy formally thanks the Knight's vice captain for saving his life. He promises to tell his clan everything, ensuring the man is properly rewarded. I mean, check this out. Mirka is completely shocked because this 10-year-old boy does not sound like a child. Hearing the boy's words, Mirka wonders if Jin truly aims to be the best. He tells his men to treat Jin with the utmost respect from now on. It's time to move on. When asked about the body, Jin says he wants it to serve as a warning. Unfortunately, the nearest village is a 2-hour walk from here. Jin refuses to let Jill take the blame for what happened, since not even a master could see the trick. After all, Khan, a 9-star knight, couldn't see through their disguise either. But Jill is still deeply troubled by it all, apologizing to her young master. For the Runcandells, the nanny is solely responsible for raising the child. Jill was his nanny in his past life, too, but they went easy on her because of the talentless kid she raised. She was so kind, she never once blamed Jyn for her misfortune. She was kicked out of the clan on the very same day he was. And even then, she apologized to him, feeling she had failed him. She was the only loyal person he ever knew. Let this sink in for a second. The woman just keeps blaming herself, and you can feel Jin's frustration building. He finally snaps, stating she is the only knight he trusts to protect him. Later, Jill thinks about what the young master said. She knows he was trying to cheer her up. And now, she's determined to do her absolute best to impress him. Arriving at the village inn, Jyn figures a transfigurator is probably involved. A man named Bubar Gaston is a master of a dragon ability called transformation. He could shapeshift better than monsters, enabling countless crimes across the world. Jyn knows if that man is involved, things are about to get complicated. He remembers Bubar's reign of chaos only ended after he was finally arrested in his past life. The boy actually considers recruiting the man in this life, even though one of Bubar's schemes almost killed him. Jyn is completely drained and finally collapses onto the bed. Jill helps him rest. When Jyn wakes up, he realizes his intense training is taking a huge toll on his young body. He spots a troublesome-looking cat right outside his window. Then it hits him, "Trust me, you and I are about to get one of the biggest reveals so far." This is no ordinary cat, it's Murakin, who transformed just to follow him. Still fuming, he shifts into human form to give Jyn a piece of his mind. But he's so clumsy, he immediately trips right into Jin's desk. Gilly rushes in to check on Jyn and spots the intruder. She's ready to end this guy before Jyn even says a word. But Murakin suddenly remembers Gilly baked him strawberry pies. He realizes he's stumbled onto something good here. Jyn, worried about the situation, decides honesty is the best policy, introducing Murakin as the clan's guardian dragon. Gilly is stunned and quickly apologizes for her attack. She's also a little confused why her new nickname is suddenly Strawberry Pie. Gilly finds out Jyn had been secretly asking her to bake those pies for Murakin this entire time. After a full explanation, Gilly learns the boy can use magic and even has a pact with the god of darkness. She supports his power, which is exactly why Jyn chose to confide in her. He makes it clear his bond with Murakin and the source of his magic must remain a total secret. At first, she trusted the guardian dragon. But seeing him trip over his own feet, Gilly starts to question if relying on him is a smart move. They arrive at the portal, where Murakin's job is done. He's curious to see what kind of man Jyn will grow up to be. Murakin then asks why a powerful warrior like Gilly ever left her old squad to join the Runcandells. She says nothing and just leaves with the boy. The staff at the portal realize they're dealing with high-ranking members of the Runcandell family. They're immediately shown to first-class seats for a quick teleport. Gilly is worried about Jyn's magic, since there's no good reason to tell the Runcandell clan. But the boy is determined to keep the source of his power a secret. Now pay attention, because this is where we meet a major player from the rival Zippel clan. The noble makes his disgust clear, but his eyes are drawn to the cat. Murakin, acting bold, puts the rude noble in his place, giving him exactly what he deserves. The Zippel noble is shocked that Jyn remains completely calm, even after his provocations. Veradine introduces himself and shakes the boy's hand, and Jyn knows this name. This man becomes a legendary sorcerer and a top candidate for the next leader of his clan. And even though Jyn is skilled in sorcery, his talent is nothing compared to Veradine's. The boy is on high alert, telling Veradine his men almost drew their swords and would have died for it. He throws the same taunts right back at him. "You and I both know Jyn wasn't just kidding around." Veradine feels a genuine chill from the boy, but advises him not to cause trouble between their two powerful clans. Jyn points out both their fathers are major figures and wouldn't start a war over a squabble between kids. Veradine is impressed, but Jyn is still talking down to him. He tells him to shut his mouth for the rest of the trip. Veridine is almost charmed and wants to be Jin's friend, but knows it would complicate their clan's relationship, so he declares him his rival for the future instead. Jyn is surprised Veridine kept his composure even after his threat. It's like the Zippels are just a wild and unpredictable bunch. The teleportation begins before leaving. Veridine says he looks forward to their next meeting. But Jyn absolutely does not feel the same way. Finally, Jyn has arrived. Petrov, a second-class butler, is there to greet him. He welcomes Jyn to the Garden of Swords and the Runcandell family estate. And trust me, the Garden of Swords is a big deal. It's where weapons used by the Runcandell family's most honored members are enshrined. To have a weapon marked here is the greatest honor a Runcandell can achieve. Jyn once wanted this, too. His old flaws made him naive, but with a new cunning mind. Jyn thinks his second life in this house will be much easier. He then meets his mother, Rosa Runcandell. Siren is stunned by the cat Jyn brought home, and Jin's claim of owning it is seen as pure arrogance. Jyn names it Kitty Runcandell. But his brothers are furious, calling it an insult to their family's prestigious name. Siren demands to know why. Jyn simply says he wants to be responsible for the cat he claimed. He will care for it, even with the heavy weight of the Runcandell name. If anyone dares to harm his pet, Jyn will make them pay. The patriarch is actually impressed by Jin's talent for making enemies so quickly. His siblings are clearly no different. Jyn declares he won't ever back down from a fight, and his father, he loves that attitude. He hopes Jin's older siblings are paying attention and don't underestimate their little brother. 4 years flash by. Jyn is now 14 and a 2-star knight. His training with Garen is complete. Next up, he's scheduled to train with his sister, Luna, but Jyn has no interest in lunch with his family. He'd much rather eat with the cats. That's when Velop brings him his meal. Velop is a commoner who's on the verge of being kicked out of the clan. He is quiet and always praises Jin's incredible strength. But Jyn tells him to stop being so humble. People will just walk all over him. He tells Velop to be proud of his skills because he is also a Runcandell cadet. But Velop is heartbroken. He has the lowest grades and terrible swordsmanship. Still, just becoming a Runcandell cadet is a massive achievement on its own. He might be the worst here, but he still likes better than most. Jyn recalls how this quiet, shy kid would later become a serious threat. And then he took his own life. Jyn knows Velop could face the same fate, so Jyn is going to stop that from ever happening. This time around, he's determined to make sure Velop stays in the clan. Later, Jyn takes stock of his own power. He's on track to reach 3-star swordsmanship in the next few years. But first, he has to train with Luna, who tells him today's training will be completely different. Luna tells him to use his mind's eye to visualize the training. Having a mind's eye is the ultimate tool for any swordsman. It's an advanced form of meditation, a skill that only 7-star knights have ever mastered. Jyn has no idea why he's being taught such a high-level skill this early. Luna even forbids using aura, and Jyn just doesn't get it. Still, he trusts his older sister's guidance and focuses hard to learn the technique. The training session ends. Luna is amazed, thinking that Jin's focus is off the charts for a knight his age. He's about to unlock some insane power. The scene cuts to a sparring session, and trust me, this is a massive day for Jyn. If he beats all 10 cadets, he gets to join the intermediate class. While Jyn looks cool and confident, his friend Velop is practically shaking with nerves. The coach orders the cadets to spar 3 times with different opponents. Only the top 10 fighters will get the chance to face Jyn. The competition kicks off, with every cadet showing off some impressive sword skills. Once the 10 finalists are chosen, the rest take a seat. Jyn prepares to face them all, and his best record so far is beating 8 fighters consecutively. But Jin's most worried about Mesa Milano, the strongest fighter among all the cadets. This one match could decide everything. She lunges at Jyn, who just parries, sensing she's got even stronger since they last fought. And you and I both know the real problem is the 8 other opponents waiting for him after her. She's shocked he's only using basic moves instead of more complex ones. And you can see it on her face. Mesa thinks Jyn is looking down on her. Insulted, she unleashes even more of her power. Mesa is dead set on taking down the young master. She lunges for one last strike, but Jyn shatters her blade and wins the fight. Mesa is in shock. How could he hit the exact same spot, causing her sword to chip and then break? Their strength and stamina are almost identical. But his precision gave him the win. Mesa vows to train harder and impress him in their next match. Even though he's up against 10 cadets, Jyn is just glad to have finally beaten Mesa, leaving the rest feeling completely hopeless. He makes quick work of the 10th cadet, finally completing the challenge. His reward. He's joining the intermediate class next year, getting real training from a true Runcandell. But just when it seems over, Jyn says he wants one more fight. He shouts out a name, Velop, and challenges him right there. Pay attention here, because the shy, nervous kid refuses at first. But Jyn warns him that his time in the clan is short if he keeps up this weak act. Jyn declares he's going to crush Velop in this fight. Shaking, Velop walks to the battlefield, barely confident enough to even hold his weapon. He thinks this is some kind of punishment from Jyn, who taunts that it should be an easy fight for Velop, since Jyn is tired from facing 10 other cadets. But even so, Jyn is sure he can still overpower this weakling. Without another word, Jyn rushes in, attacking fiercely. Velop can barely block the strike. Jyn is actually impressed by his form. Velop tries to hang on, but Jyn isn't holding anything back. He's coming at him with everything he's got, saying that last attack could have easily killed him. Velop gets a second chance. He gets back to his feet, but he seems different, and here it is, the moment everything changes. A golden aura erupts around his body. He's about to unleash something dangerous. Mesa tells Garen that Jin's life is actually in danger. The young master just orders everyone to keep this fight a secret. He wants to see Velop use his aura to boost his skills. Velop attacks with all his might, thinking he can defeat the weakened Jyn. Jyn blocks the attack, but his own blade shatters from the pure force of the impact. Jyn knew Velop had talent, but he had no idea the kid could already use aura. Even with a broken sword, Jyn strikes back and gets Velop into a headlock. But then he lets go, showing him mercy. Jyn looks his friend in the eye, telling him he never wanted to fight like this. Even though he doesn't know Velop that well, Jyn wants him to get strong while keeping his kind heart. In their clan, just being kind isn't enough to survive. The young master gently tells Velop to get stronger to protect what he believes in. That's how you get along. It's lunchtime. Jyn decides to get their food, since Velop is usually the one who brings it. Meanwhile, Kieran is shocked by Khan's report on Jin's sudden act of kindness. His father is proud that Jyn is looking out for those weaker than him. He's thrilled with his son's progress and decides he's ready for his first real mission. In January 1795, Jyn turns 15. He was promoted to a 3-star knight and got a break from training. The intermediate class used real swords now, not wooden ones. Each cadet got a custom-made blade, so some had to wait for their new weapons to be forged. Jyn needed a weapon too, but Luna was even more excited for this day than he was. She was going to pick his weapon, just like she'd asked to. Her brother trusts her completely, thinking she'll find the perfect weapon for him. Until she brings out a massive greatsword. You saw that right, even Jyn is speechless. Luna just says she used the same type of weapon when she was his age. She even designed it herself. It's a prototype for her main weapon, but you and I are about to see this go sideways. He flat out refuses it, completely crushing Luna's feelings. Seeing his face, Luna switches gears, picking a weapon that actually fits his fighting style. Luna spent forever searching for this. Since he picked the Balisada as a baby, she figured the Bradamante would be perfect. It was the first patriarch's weapon, a blade he loves, and a priceless treasure of the clan. Jyn wanted this sword eventually, but he's stoked Luna just handed it to him for free. Both blades are perfect for Shadow Force users. Jyn never could have gotten this sword on his own, thanks to some classic sibling rivalry. So yeah, this is a massive gift from Luna. Luna tells him not to worry about paying her back. She knows he's wary around her. Looking a little down, Luna tells her brother to close his eyes for another round of training. She reminds him the Runel siblings are always clashing. But even so, she wants him to remember her love is unconditional and she'll support him no matter what. She says this because she felt so incredibly lonely and alone before Jyn arrived. She hopes her little brother never has to experience that same pain. And with that, it's back to training. After their session, Jyn excitedly shows his new sword to Muraken, but pay attention to this reaction. He thinks it's way too advanced for Jin's current skill level. The kid needs to master his shadow force just to unlock Bradamont's true power. Jyn is just too weak right now, but he's confident he'll hit 3 stars in shadow force soon. Merkin is not having any of the boys' cockiness and stresses how careful you have to be with the Patriarch's holy weapons. Instead of 3 stars, he tells the kid to aim for 5 stars. But Jyn is a stubborn kid who despises waiting. He expects to hit his goal by next year, which just irritates Muraken more. To push his buttons, Jyn grabs his book and threatens to tear it apart. Luckily, Jilly arrives to tell Jyn about Garen, who wants to meet him about a new mission. Jyn is totally surprised. He learns his first official mission starts right after the break ends. And while he's happy, he doesn't get the rush. Why right after the break? Jilly knows that these missions are tough, even for the intermediate cadets. Jin's curious and heads off to discuss it with Garen. He enters the room and gets the briefing. He has to lead a mission with 10 beginner cadets, all divided into pairs. Their objective is to scout the border region of the Giant Kingdom, an area normally way too dangerous for rookies. And I know what you're thinking, because Jyn is too, this is a suicide mission. Especially since his teammates are so weak, he suspects his father is behind these insane mission parameters. He wonders if Velop had a hand in this too. Still, our boy is ready to show his skills to the Divine Star Knight, his resolve stronger than ever. 4 days pass. Their mission, rescue Bill from the Bill family. They move fast, setting up a camp near the border before starting their work. Every day, a different group exchanges intel with their base camp. Jyn, as the leader, makes sure his team calls him that. He orders anyone injured to get plenty of rest for the mission's success. Jyn learns there aren't any werewolves in the area. He's actually impressed with Velop's intel gathering and how he handles the information. The group leader keeps searching in Area 13, but something about this whole thing bothers him. Sure, his father helped assign the mission, but everything is going way too smoothly. And you and I both know what that means. His gut feeling was right all along. All right, beyond Area 13 lies the land of Halfmen, and trust me, it's way too dangerous. Especially for new cadets, so Jin's thinking smart, aiming for an easy win to save resources. But then Velop sprints in with some seriously urgent news. Turns out Group 2 has been ambushed by an enemy. Jyn immediately snaps into action. As he gears up, Velop confirms it was 3 human attackers who hit them. But it's possible there are more. Jyn orders his team to head back to base camp. He's going to lead the charge himself and shut down their plans. So many questions are racing through his mind, but he's dead set on getting revenge. Now pay attention. Velop sees the bloodstains and fears the worst, that Mesa's group was wiped out. Jyn, however, believes there's still hope because there are no bodies nearby. It's possible only one attacker is hitting them, then Jyn finds a bloodied bandage. From this, he figures out Group 2 changed course after sensing another danger. He tells Sierra to go with Eddington and David, while he and Velop will pursue Group 2. They find them mid-fight, but Mesa is gone. Jyn orders Velop to attack the one on the left. At the same time, Jyn coats his own weapon with shadow force, amplifying its power. He throws his blade, taking out one of the assailants in a single, deadly strike. Velop moves on the second guy, but Jyn is already there, cutting him down from behind. And just like that, both enemies are defeated. Jyn confirms that Mesa has been captured. He gives the survivor 2 choices, and spoiler alert, they both end in death. This fearsome 15-year-old is merciless, swearing to kill everyone the guy has ever known. The man, terrified for his family, starts talking, spilling his connection to the Gonzalo faction. They're a terrorist group who, in the original timeline, actually killed the king of the Jyn kingdom. They might pretend to be revolutionaries, but their real plan is far more sinister. They secretly aim for world conquest. Jyn immediately demands to know their plan. Unfortunately, the assailant is just a low-ranking grunt, so he knows next to nothing. Nothing about their main base, at least, but he does know of another hideout. One that has 20 martial artists and sorcerers. Finally, Jyn asks why they kidnapped Mesa. He learns they were ordered to capture the female cadets for a political move. After getting the information he needs, Jyn kills him, showing zero mercy to his enemies. An hour has already passed since Mesa's capture. He tells his team to call for backup. Okay, I know what you're thinking, and yes, he's ready to fight all 20 assailants himself. His friends immediately protest such a reckless plan, wanting to join the dangerous mission. But Jyn stands firm, stating it is his duty to protect the people of his clan. He trusts his own power to get the job done and doesn't like his orders being questioned. Jyn tells Velop he's in charge while he's gone, then he rushes off to save Mesa. He's racing against the clock, hoping to reach her before it's too late. Jyn is facing skilled enemies, a real challenge for him. He's strong, but maybe not that strong. Not strong enough to defeat all of them alone, so the plan isn't a fight, it's a rescue. He won't engage his opponents directly. Instead, he uses detection magic with wind detection. This combination gives him better results, helping him pinpoint the enemy's location. Jyn keeps moving forward, but suddenly finds himself ambushed by a whole squad of enemies. The Runcandell young master, however, surprises them with his magical abilities. He takes one down, but a mage traps his hand. Jyn just cuts the attacker down from behind. He's not even hurt by the fire, thanks to his immunity. The mage tries ice magic next. But even that doesn't work against this monster. The sorcerer is swiftly defeated and dies. He figures they're underestimating him because his group is new. Jyn knows the Gonzalo ranks. Mesa should be safe once she reaches an officer. But this is his only shot to save her himself. He has to draw their attention. And for that, he uses fire magic, a perfect distraction to make them look away. While they're distracted, he slips into their base, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Jyn spots their leader, who already knows the fire was a diversion. Not good. With the guards away, Jyn takes him down fast, snatching the keys and forcing the door. Inside, he finds a trapdoor and finally lays eyes on Mesa. She's stunned to see him in a place this dangerous. Jyn frees her, but then the entire building begins to tremble and fall apart. Mesa tells him to leave her behind if it gets too tough, but Jin's not hearing it. They burst outside only to walk into a nightmare, and trust me, this is where it gets insane. Countless enemies lie dead, cut down by a terrifying half-man, the white werewolf. Jyn quickly knocks Mesa unconscious so she won't do anything reckless. The werewolf asks if he started the fire. Jyn reveals he's the patriarch's son and prepares for battle. The beast is shocked to see a member of the Runcandell clan here. Just days ago, Jyn was trying to master this very weapon, with Murakin mocking him. He warned him not to use the sword's full power yet, or his body would pay the price. Frustrated, Jyn had given up, but now he faces the toughest fight of his life. Quasijuka is an elite warrior from the White Werewolf tribe. They're natural-born killers, powerful enough to take down 6-star knights. And they despise the Runcandells. Ever since Tamar killed their god, Jyn is in deep trouble. You and I both know he can't escape with Mesa while this monster is on his tail. Fighting is the only way. The monster taunts him, asking if he'll face him head-on or just run and hide. Jyn declares he will fight with honor, and that's all Quasijuka needed to hear. He charges, swinging a massive hammer right at Jin's head. He barely dodges the blow. But only for a second. The monster's speed and power are overwhelming. He's struggling to hold on, but sees one last chance if he unleashes his hidden power. Using Luna's pendant is too risky. He has to win this fight on his own terms. Weak magic is useless against a werewolf's defenses, that's for sure. And there's the risk of everyone discovering his secret abilities. He has one option. The Shadow Force. Jyn has to awaken his sword right now, or this is the end. The monster is impressed by the weapon's durability, but Jyn is still getting pushed back. Gripping the sword, he focuses everything he has. Then, suddenly, a blinding beam of light erupts as the blade awakens, staggering the werewolf. A single powerful slash cuts through the air. The monster drops to his knees, a huge gash in his gut. It's over, Jyn says, the clear victor, but the sword's power comes with a price. He starts to feel weak. This is exactly what Murakin had warned him about. The backlash hits hard. Dark memories and haunting voices flood his mind. Murakin appears before him, a grim reminder of the cost of using that power too soon. Shadows creep over his body as Murakin tells him to fight it or lose himself forever. Jyn tries to release the Shadow Force, but the dark energy is swallowing him whole. He struggles to calm his mind and finally pushes the agonizing feeling out of his body. He's lucky, no serious wounds, but the Shadow Force still lingers inside him. You and I just watched him win, but with what little strength he has left, he just tries to stand. To save Mesa, suddenly he senses someone nearby, and this man claims he's not with Gonzalo. In fact, he's Sember Bill, the very man they were looking for. Jyn explains he's here to rescue him on behalf of the Runcandell family. Hearing this, Sember is overjoyed. Jyn frees Mesa, then asks how Sember got captured in the first place. He tells them he met a woman he loved, who sadly died 2 years ago. But then he was shocked to see that same woman alive. She's the one who tricked him into this trap. Jyn immediately knows what's up. This is the work of the Transfigurator. Sember's capture is just one part of a combined attack from Bubar and Gonzalo. Jyn hopes to meet this Transfigurator soon to figure out his endgame. As for Sember, he is incredibly grateful for Jin's rescue. He promises to help Jyn out in the future. The mission is finally over, and Jill congratulates Jyn on his return. But before anything else, the feisty little cat bites his hand, so Jyn just tosses the cat straight out the window. Now pay attention, this is where things get serious. Murakin is upset Jyn used the sword too soon, before he was ready. He scolds Solderet's last contractor for being a fool who threw his life away. When Jill tries to intervene, he shuts her down too. Jyn just replies that he couldn't risk losing his pendant, especially with much stronger enemies on the horizon. More importantly, he's wondering how Murakin knew about the sword's awakening. Turns out Jin's Shadow Force grew so fast when he used the sword, it caused an overload, something incredibly hard to control. 9 of the 11 previous users gave in and collapsed from the power. The only 2 who survived were Solderet and now Jyn. Still, he dreads ever feeling that kind of intense pain again. The Dark Dragon then chimes in, asking for strawberry pie, but gets shot down and looks heartbroken. Meanwhile, news of Jin's victory over the White Werewolf is raising a lot of questions. I mean, let's be real, Jin's ability is only rated at around 3 stars, so beating that monster should have been impossible. Anna just assumes the werewolf he fought must have been a weaker version. However, Mew isn't buying that excuse. They both turn to the Tona twins, demanding an explanation. They want to know if Jyn really defeated a monster so far above his level. Plus, he's now in the intermediate class, which spells big trouble for Hona and Datona. Mew and Anna can't help but find their predicament hilarious. But Anna's smile fades as she warns them not to lie. The brothers finally admit it, they're terrified of Jyn. Anna offers to help them by lending some of her own people. You see, the intermediate class is all about survival of the fittest. It's filled with only the strongest cadets from 3 to 5 stars. Both Anna and Mew have taken a lot of these cadets under their wing. They're ready to send them after Hiona and Datona's target, Jyn. The scene then shifts to Jyn, who's just reached 4 stars in Shadow Force after that last mission, but using his full power right now is still a huge risk. So Jyn plans to hit 6 stars in swordsmanship within the next few years. His goal is to become a true swordmaster before reaching rank 7. The thing is, the strongest swordsmen are all 8-star knights or higher. We're talking about only 100 of these elite warriors existing on a continent of 2 billion people. But it gets crazier. There's a level beyond even 10 stars. This is the divine star level of Patriarch Siron. A man with the power of a demigod. That is Jyn's real goal, to become a divine star knight and finally surpass his own father. But for now, he has to handle the intermediate class. And trust me, with the Tona twins gunning for him, it's about to get real ugly. The beginner class was simple, a breeze for the siblings since they were new. But for the intermediate class, everything is about to change. The only thing that matters now is pure power and skill. Jyn's goal, simple. Dominate the intermediate class and prove his worth. He's then summoned by his mother, who praises him for completing his first mission. She also heard from her butler that Jyn refused to move into the new room, a special room reserved for future clan leaders. It was sitting empty, so she offers it to him. But her son turns it down flat, saying it's just a room and he's not a fan of all that extra space. He's perfectly happy with what he already has. Hearing this, she dismisses him. Rosa is left wondering about the boy's true nature, unable to tell if he's overflowing with ambition or has none at all. It was obvious that taking the room would have granted him massive support. But at the same time, it would have painted a huge target on his back for his siblings. The offer was a test, and trust me, our boy passed it with flying colors. Jyn heads back to warn the novice cadets about the factions they'll face in the intermediate class. And since these new cadets are now considered part of Jyn's crew, they're about to face a storm of harassment. But their leader isn't just going to stand by and watch. His plan is to conquer the intermediate class from day one. As a warning, Jyn tells them to keep their guard up and always move with an ally. The next day, Jyn Runcandell, a seasoned 8-star knight and the Patriarch's younger brother, gives a speech to all the cadets moving up to the intermediate class. Jyn himself won't get involved in their fights. He's only there to judge their sword skills. He roars his message, reminding the new blood of the clan's cold motto. Strength is everything, so anyone who's weak gets thrown out. Jyn immediately senses this is just a cheap trick to scare the freshmen. He spots the Tona twins, and also notices an unusual-looking warrior standing right beside them. And for some reason, he has a gut feeling that Anne and Mew are pulling the strings from the shadows. Now pay close attention here. Mesa watches as Jyn walks straight for the Tona twins. He draws his blade and without a word slashes the man next to them. In front of everyone, the man loses an arm. Jyn is making a statement, showing his enemies he's the one calling the shots, not the other way around. When asked for his name, the cadet introduces himself as Kazan Romero. The Tona twins try to step in, but Jyn just glares at them with a cold warning. One of the brothers loses his cool and accidentally screams that the cadet belongs to his faction. This is the exact opening Jyn was waiting for. He pushes them even further, saying he had a petty reason for taking the man's arm. The war between the Runcandell siblings has officially begun. Jyn realizes the twins' little trap just backfired on them. With Kazan's allegiance now public, Jyn's attack is no longer a random act of violence. Instead, it becomes the War of Ranks, an official tradition of the Runcandell clan. And you and I just saw him brilliantly flip the script. Jyn shouts his name, letting the entire intermediate class know he won't hesitate to cut down anyone who stands against him. But this open defiance has put him squarely against the 8-star knight. His uncle Jed is absolutely furious at his words. Jyn states that he's challenging Jed's authority, and this 8-star knight is clearly offended. He materializes his weapon, swearing he'll kill the kid if his excuse is weak. Jyn argues that Jed is in charge of this class. He should have known about the scheme. He could have realized from the start that his students were launching an attack. Hearing this, the knight thrusts his blade right up to Jin's face, grazing him as a warning. But Jyn just says he wasn't offended. As for why he didn't fight Jed directly, well, it was obvious he would lose, otherwise he would have just attacked him. Jed warns the boy that he's not afraid to cut him down right here. It doesn't matter if he's the patriarch's son, but Jyn is completely unfazed. He says that even though his opponent is stronger, it doesn't matter. A Runcandell never backs down when honor is on the line. Jed just laughs. But you can tell he's actually pretty impressed with the kid's guts. He calls Jyn a prime example of what a true Runcandell is supposed to be. With that, the session is finally dismissed. Jyn walks off, but not before leaving the Tona twins with a little piece of advice. He tells them a time will come. A time when they will fear him far more than they fear their older siblings. Back in his room with Murakin, Jyn explains the rank war to Jilly. He is absolutely certain that Miu and Anne are pulling the strings from the shadows. Jyn mentions that cadet who stepped out of line. He was once on Anne's side. But somehow he ended up joining the twins' faction, which makes no sense. It's impossible for them to have 5-star knights in their group. Because the leaders are always supposed to be stronger, Jilly fails to grasp what Anne and Miu are planning. But Jyn is actually glad they see him as a rival and a serious threat. Now here's the thing, they can use their power to make his missions impossibly hard. They'll try to make Jyn fail, but other than that, there's not much they can do. Jyn can handle himself just fine on individual operations, and that's exactly his plan. He knows they'll be forced to throw him into the most difficult missions. This will allow him to rack up achievements and become even stronger. He can also bring Murakin along as a safety measure, but Jyn has another idea for him. The next day, the Tona twins and Jyn are all called into a meeting with their uncle. He informs them about the special training privileges they're about to receive. As Runcandell purebloods, their training is going to be brutal, but it will embody the very spirit and motto of the Runcandell clan. See, their fighting style is anything but standard swordsmanship. They have special moves that are kept secret. Moves reserved only for the clan's flag bearers. Because their fighting style is so unorthodox, it sets them completely apart from the other clans. Jyn figures it's because the physical abilities of the Runcandells are just on another level. The bloodline of these masters gives them a God-given talent for the sword. It's literally in their blood to be born with this incredible power. Because of that, their training is focused on simple movements. The task, hold a steel ball. But Jyn immediately senses something is inside it. The steel balls are called singing stones. They generate a specific sound with every single strike. And trust me, you're going to want to see this. Jed strikes the ball, creating a deafening clang. It's so sharp it almost hurts their ears. Then, the commander knight strikes again. But this time, it's different. A beautiful, melodic sound fills the entire room. The ball is struck, and the goal is to hit it perfectly, releasing a beautiful sound. Jyn quickly figures out this is the most effective training for the Runcandells. But still, it feels way too simple and easy to be some secret training method. Jed moves to create the third and final sound. Jin's curious. The blade hits the stone when suddenly he feels the true effect. Jyn shoves his brothers aside just as the steel ball explodes into nothing. The Tona twins are in shock, while Jed looks impressed by the kids' sharp senses. See, the stones are designed to explode if struck with too much power. This means their lives are literally on the line every single time they train. Jed explains that all their older siblings went through this exact same explosion. So Jyn has to ask, how did their sister Luna manage to dodge it? Jed's answer, she didn't. She just stood there and took the full force of the blast. She was so powerful with such insane defenses that it didn't even scratch her. This revelation leaves not just Jyn, but his brothers totally speechless. Now that's what you call having an overpowered big sister. Jed gives them their mission, train until they can make that sound on command. Meanwhile, the scene cuts over to Luna, who just heard about Jin's assassination attempt. She knows Mew and Anne are playing games, but they aren't dumb enough to pull a stunt like that. Not in the Storm Castle, where their own lives would be forfeit if the patriarch found out. Luna's maid wonders if the little boy just lied to her all those years ago. I mean, it's possible. He was just a kid, and it has been 5 years after all. They haven't found a single shred of evidence of an assassination attempt. Luna remembers how cautious he was around her, but recalling his face. She could tell deep down that every word he said was genuine. Luna orders her maid to keep a close watch on Mew and Anne's little schemes. She can't help but wonder what Jyn is really up to, especially remembering the singing stones. The next day, Jyn can barely even hold his stance. It is brutal. This is easily the most difficult training he has ever been a part of. Jed watches on. Our boy had it all wrong thinking this was about physical strength. No, this training is entirely focused on strengthening your aura. Jyn has to pour his aura into his blade to make up for his lack of raw power. It's not impossible, though. The Tona twins pulled it off in his past life. Jed watches the siblings struggle, but it's Jyn who's showing the most progress. At this rate, he might actually beat Luna's legendary record with the stones. The session finally ends, with the Tona twins completely collapsing from exhaustion. But Jed is still impressed. Their endurance is nothing to scoff at. As for Jyn, his uncle can hardly believe he's the youngest of the bunch. This kid isn't just a diamond in the rough, he's the whole damn mine. Seriously, Jed is quickly becoming his nephew's #1 fan. A month passes, the intermediate class is finally getting its first official missions. The first mission is to protect new recruits from the Mink Blacksmith Guild. Each faction gets their assignment until it's finally Jin's turn. His group of 10 cadets is tasked with slaying 25 orcs. A ridiculously tough mission, especially since they just got to the intermediate class. Let's be real, this is a mission a lot of them aren't meant to survive. Just as predicted, other factions start mocking Jin's group. Stick with me, we're about to see how our boy handles the haters. Mesa immediately stops her comrades from fighting back, demanding they keep their composure. As Runcandells, they don't get to choose their missions anyway. The only way forward is to complete them. Mesa is determined to shut their critics up for good. After their training, Detona gets cocky and strikes one of the singing stones. He hits it so hard it explodes right in his face. Jyn barely dodges the blast. But still gets clipped by the shockwave. He hates training around these careless clowns. They have absolutely zero regard for their surroundings. All the while, the Tona twins are busy blowing up more stones, but for Jyn, something strange just happened. His senses suddenly went into overdrive, like he could feel everything around him. He could sense every single shard of steel coming his way from a mile out. At this point, he's sure he can evade the pellets, even if the stones explode again. Jyn wonders if this new ability is connected to the mind's eye training he did with Luna. To confirm his theory, he decides to go again, but Jed suddenly interrupts. He's here to announce their new missions. The Tona twins are not happy. They're being sent to a boring ceremony with the Vimenth Empire. It's not a life-threatening mission, but it's guaranteed to be a draining one. Jed stresses its importance. They have to take this seriously. This is an event where the strongest warriors gather. That includes the Runcandells. Jed wants the Tona twins to size up the competition. Jin's mission, however, is on a completely different level. Now pay close attention. He's just been assigned a high-level assassination mission. His target is the lover of a powerful ruler from the secret palace, a giant guarded tower. The current ruler is Taris Dorma, a woman so deadly she shows absolutely no mercy. To anyone who harms the people she loves, Jyn is given the full, dangerous scope of the mission. His target is a man named Alcaro, who is constantly protected. We're talking elite agents from the secret palace itself. What's even crazier is this type of mission is usually reserved for Guardian Knights, which explains the twins' shocked faces. Jyn, however, is intrigued by the request. He wonders if the Chandra family really wants to assassinate one of their very own people, Jed explains. The family tried many times to bring Alcaro back to protect their secrets. With no other options left, they put an assassination request on his head. And Jyn accepts without a second of hesitation. I know what you're thinking, and yeah, Jed is completely floored. This mission is way beyond Jin's current skill level, but Jed decides to entertain him. He tells the three to get ready for their missions in 3 days. The Tona twins are actually worried about Jyn, even they understand the gravity of his mission. They advise him to use his Runcandell name, thinking it might offer some protection. Our boy is genuinely shocked by their concern, and then he turns back and perfectly slices a steel ball, producing a soft, gentle sound. He's already achieved mastery. By the time he returns, the Tona twins will be forced to acknowledge him. Even Jed believes they should make the smart choice. Following Jyn might be the only way for them to survive what's coming. The day of the mission arrives. Jyn is being sent into the dangerous Lawless region. The Runcandell young master is using a light disguise to hide his appearance. Jin's group believes their mission is just to slay some monsters. They have no idea they're about to face 25 orcs, all at once. His men are terrified of this mission, basically writing their own eulogies. But not Jyn, trust me, he makes it clear he's coming back from this mission alive. Jill thinks his worried subordinates are adorable, while Murakin tries to act tough, boasting about being a great dark dragon, completely forgetting he's stuck as a cat. Jyn tells Jill to treat this like a vacation while he's away, but she's worried. She knows Mama is a death trap. Jyn just promises again that he'll be back. And with that, he's gone. Welcome to the Mammoth region, home to the absolute worst criminals. You can practically feel the evil in the air, and Jin's here to clean house. The locals have no idea who this new face is, acting like he owns the whole town. One of the thugs wonders if he's some secret Ninstar knight undercover. He tries to teach the new guy about the pecking order here, but Jin's not interested. No time for talk, he just stabs the man straight through the head, clean. A cold chill runs through the crowd, but these criminals don't mourn their own. There's no sense of loss here, just a room full of psychopaths, and Jyn knows it. His teacher told him how to handle these guys, show them you are not to be messed with. He's thankful for that advice. Jyn grabs a drink, completely unfazed by the risk of poison. He tosses down the payment and starts eating. The bartender is curious. He asks if Jyn is looking for someone. He is, a person named Heistester. Unfortunately, nobody by that name lives in this town, so Jyn asks for a place to stay. The bartender points him to Moonlight Well, a safe inn reserved only for the elite. It's where the kings of Mamet stay, a top-tier luxury inn, and since Alcaro is loaded, he's never had to worry about a single thing in his life. He's a total clown. A rich fool who can't control his own desires. Right now, Alcaro is only here to try and win over the local ruler, but that ship has sailed, there's no point. She's already moved on to her next toy, with just one safe spot left for him. It's obvious Alcaro would have guards crawling all over the place to protect him. Jyn decides to just hang out in the lobby and watch the whole situation unfold. And what do you know, he spots Alcaro almost immediately, arguing with his own men. His guards refuse to leave him alone, but Alcaro is just lost in his own world. He even threatens to kill them. His reward, a massive punch that knocks him out cold. His own men are sick of babysitting this annoying, obsessed clown. And get this, Alcaro's guards are all incredibly powerful. Every one of them is over the 6-star level. The kill itself would be easy. But getting out alive, that's the real challenge, and since he can't use poison here, it's going to be extremely difficult. There's basically no chance of a direct hit. Not with Alcaro's men standing guard, Jyn finds himself in a serious bind. Until it hits him, let me tell you, he finds the perfect solution to his problem. The next day we see Cirrus, the ruler's daughter, over in Dorma. She hears 6 men are guarding Alcaro, a man she considers nothing but a fool. And funny enough, she was also planning to kill him herself because she's sick of him. As her crew approaches the inn, something massive happens. A colossal thunderbolt from the heavens strikes the building, completely obliterating it. The ruler's daughter is thrilled, realizing there's way more going on here than she thought. And circling back to Jyn's plan, you and I are about to see something spectacular. He used a magic attack, then stacked his shadow force on top to amplify its power. Stick with me, we're about to watch our guy pull off the perfect crime. A powerful mage attack. No one would ever suspect a kid, especially not when the Academy's greatest prodigy, Veridine Ziffel, just hit the 6-star level herself. Jyn needs this to look like an outside attack, which is why he knows exactly what to do. He chooses a lightning-based assault, tapping into his command over Shadow Force. With a single command, he unleashes it, manifesting pure, crackling power. The devastating thunderbolt slams into the settlement before anyone can even react. Their immediate thought, this has to be the attack of a master sorcerer. Ciri assesses the brutal situation, wanting to protect her people above all. She couldn't care less if that scumbag Alcaro dies, but as her guards get close, the thunderbolt's shockwave sends them flying. Are the Xyal sorcerers back? Exacting revenge on the secret palace. Just then, a third thunderbolt strikes. Now, this is where it gets messy. Ciri hopes that's the last one, praying that no one is seriously injured. But here's the kicker, Jyn himself is caught in the blast, taking massive damage. He's enduring the full wrath of his own spell. The guards are alive somehow. But Alcaro is nowhere in sight. Jyn has to confirm the kill while he still can. Unfortunately for him, Ciri spots his injured form and rushes over to help. She doesn't give a damn about Alcaro's safety and actually prefers him gone. In fact, she immediately orders the capture of whoever cast these spells. Jyn is secretly relieved. He doesn't have to do the dirty work of finishing Alcaro now. Not with her entire squad on the scene, but there's still a huge problem. If she recognizes him as a Runcandell, it's all over. Absolute disaster. The guards report back. Alcaro's death is confirmed, killed by the lethal spell. As daughter of the ruler, Ciri immediately seizes control of the Moonlight Well. Of course, there are objections to her declaration, challenged by some local thugs. From the scumbags of Maymet, and here's where you and I get to see a queen in action. She demonstrates her complete domination, cutting them down with her ice blade. She vows to compensate for damages if the palace was the target, but she's also ready to fight. If the sorcerer was targeting one of the criminals, she's going to ruin them. Ciri takes full control of the inn, her next target, the sorcerer who attacked. It's obvious the caster has to be one of the survivors, right here among them. She's already pissed that they provoked a powerful foe, then Ciri notices Jyn. Annoyed by his slow pace, she calls him a coward while tending to his leg. This is an honor a commoner could brag about for a century. She knows this kid can't repay her. So she just leaves him with an experience he'll never forget. Jyn waves her goodbye. But the second she's gone, this dude is laser-focused. Mission accomplished. He achieved his objective and perfectly covered his tracks, all at once. The scene then jumps to the battle, raging against the orcs. Mesa and the others just took down an orc, gaining a false sense of confidence. They think they can clear this with 0 casualties, but Mesa is way more serious. With 7 targets left, she won't let her people get sloppy, and something is off. The orcs, they normally attack in packs, but for some reason, they're all alone. Mesa credits Jyn's blessing for their luck on this mission, but there's more to it than that. While they're focused on finishing the job, Murakin is just happy he'll be free soon. And as for why the orcs are acting so strange, the reason is actually pretty simple. This way, Murakin threatened to kill them if they did otherwise. The orcs were so terrified, they never grouped up together again. Unfortunately, the cat dragon figures he's going to be tasked with more annoying quests in the future. All Murakin wants in return for his service is comic books. He's glad they're all safe, but then even Murakin feels an incredible dark energy he somehow never predicted. and stick with me. This monster is stomping its way directly to Mesa's group. So Murakin throws up a powerful shadow barrier that goes completely unnoticed by everyone except for Velop. During this time, he shifts into his true form to obliterate the monster who dared cast its energy without permission. These were the Tomb Giants, a race driven to extinction almost 2 millennia ago. Murakin can't figure out why this creature would suddenly show up here. He prepares a deadly beam of energy and annihilates the thing with a column of pure darkness. With the monster gone, Murakin feels the tension in his body. He hasn't used this much power in ages. But he's confident the Exials are somehow connected to the Tomb Giant's sudden appearance. These strange coincidences are bothering him, but he has no interest in telling Jyn about it. Murakin understands that eventually the time will come for Jyn to face the Zeal clan himself. The scene cuts to the Transfigurator, and yeah, I know what you're thinking. He is shocked that his creation, the Tomb Giant, was just instantly destroyed. He's furious at the result, but Bishko is worried about an even bigger problem. The Shadow Dragon was the one who destroyed their creature, almost like it was a warning. Bishkek wants to arrange a meeting with the Exiles now. Jed is feeling the weight of pride after Jin's amazing return. It's a crushing blow to the flag bearers who gave him such a critical mission. The intermediate class is dismissed as Jyn meets up with all his friends and learns that they also succeeded in their own missions. But most of the other intermediate knights are just jealous that a Runcandell pureblood is armed with godly luck on his side. After all, they're completely hard stuck at their own ranks. They mock Jyn, who to them is nothing but a mere 4-star knight. But for all their arrogance, they can't do a thing because of his pureblood status. They're just waiting on their next orders from Miu and Anne. Then Jyn invites the challenge by walking right up to them, calmly stating he heard every single word. He taunts Cassin, who actually admits to talking trash behind his back. Jyn confirms that, yeah, he doesn't have a higher rank than any of them. Cassin scoffs at him, fed up with Jyn, who only cleared the mission thanks to pure luck. Jyn makes himself perfectly clear. He fully admits that a 5-star knight outranks a 4-star knight like him. So instead of all this talk, Jyn wants Cassin to challenge him to a duel, and get this, he says Aura is fully allowed. Cassin thinks he's about to snag himself an easy victory. He lunges to attack Jyn, who can practically feel the frustration behind every single swing, but at the same time, Jyn has battled against opponents far stronger than this guy, so he isn't feeling remotely outclassed. Cassin tries to end the fight, boasting that he's the stronger of the two fighters. Jyn blocks the strike, but gets clipped by his aura. But now he's got it. He can keep up with the trajectory of his attacks. All the possible combinations you can make with a sword, you and I are watching Jyn read every move towards him, but his opponent, all rage, no strategy, and you and I know that's a fatal mistake. Sparks fly as their blades meet, and Jyn gets ready to end this fight. He taunts his opponent for being so predictable, saying he has 0 chance. Cassin launches 3 critical attacks, but Jyn counters every single one. He parries everything and prepares the final blow, a massive aura slash. It completely obliterates Cassin, snatching the victory right from under him. Jyn is certain. He knows he's gotten way stronger, finally entering the domain of a 5-star knight. The whole thing was a setup to make his opponent underestimate him. It was the perfect way to create an opening. The Tona twins arrive on the scene completely baffled, but for Jyn, the fight was nothing special. He just walks away like it was nothing. When Cassin reports to his faction leaders, they practically laugh in his face. They can't believe the boy has already reached the level of a 5-star knight at such a young age. Both MW and Anne know what Jin's power-up means for the clan. They're preparing to mobilize strict measures to eliminate him on his next mission. And trust me, the whole clan is buzzing. Everyone's talking about his insane growth. Only the absolute best prodigies could achieve this level at his age. Honestly, even Jyn himself is surprised by this power jump. He hadn't even focused on sword mastery outside of his special training. Turns out, growth in one area was boosting everything else. Improving his shadow force also improved his aura and mana flow. He's the only one in the entire clan to master all three powers. Later, Jyn spots a bunch of flowers he's never seen before in his room. He doesn't pay them much mind, they seem safe enough. As for his new strength, Jyn is sure his siblings are going to be even more desperate to get rid of him now. And Joshua is at the top of that list. He's a candidate for the throne right after their sister, Luna, gave up her claim to the title. Joshua is working on strengthening his position inside the clan with their mother's direct support. At first, Jyn wanted to hide his real power, but he had a change of heart. And here's why that's a genius move. He knows the whole world will find out anyway. But instead of showing off, Jyn just wants his father to take notice. Siren, his mother, was never satisfied with Joshua taking the throne. She wanted Luna, but Luna lacked ambition and walked away, despite her incredible talent. With Luna gone, the next in line automatically became Joshua. This all happened long before Jyn proved he was more than worthy of being a contender. Jyn is fully aware that his father will definitely test him with an impossible trial. But more than that, he might even grant Jyn personal protection so he doesn't get ambushed before the test. Thanks to Kieran's scheming, Jyn will likely survive the wrath of his siblings. A huge banquet is scheduled for his father's return, and Jyn is expecting something big to go down. A few days pass. Suddenly, invitations from powerful clans all over the world start pouring in. Jyn has been living peacefully, away from the flag bearers. They don't want to risk attacking him while he's in the spotlight. It would destroy the Runcandell family's reputation. Just then, Petro suddenly comes rushing in with urgent news about Jyn's newest mission. Their mother is infuriated. Totally disappointed by her other children's actions, they were bold enough to send Jyn straight to his death by assigning him a mission in the Zefal territory. But trust me, Jyn crashes their party first. Luncia, Ran, and Vugo all turn to stare at their youngest brother. Their mother instantly cancels the mission, crushing Anne and Mew's entire plan. She roars at the scumbags who openly plotted their own brother's death. Mew and Anne are radiating pure hostility. You and I can see this family is absolutely insane. They're walking on eggshells now. Conflicts were always encouraged for the sake of competition. It was how they were raised, a constant fight to see who came out on top. They all had to face brutal hardships during their time in the intermediate class. Rosa agrees that competition is necessary, but she draws the line at murder. Besides, neither Anne nor Mew ever achieved the rank of a 5-star knight at his age. Jyn is just built different. He is on a whole other level. In other words, their mother refuses to lose an exceptional talent to their petty games. And what's more, Lunia, Ran, and Vigo are in equal trouble for their part in this. Their punishment is to return their precious swords to the clan's armory. Rosa even threatens to take every single sword they possess if they don't comply. In the middle of all this chaos, Rosa waits for Jyn's response. She wonders if he'll kindly take the punishment or use this to his advantage. She wants to test the boy's resolve. That's when Jyn raises his voice. He declares he's taking the mission anyway, and trust me, Rosa is completely floored. She can't believe he doesn't grasp the sheer danger that comes with this. The territory of Zeals is a death trap, but Jyn is absolutely confident of victory. He's all for the mission that his so-called beloved sisters arranged for him. In fact, he even sides with them for finding a mission suited to his power. Rosa scoffs at his courageous act, but the 15-year-old brings up the clan's reputation. A sudden mission change, he argues, would make the entire clan look weak. Rosa blasts that excuse, knowing they're just using him since they can't fight directly. But that's exactly what Jyn is hoping for. Now pay attention, this is where his real plan starts. He knows he's no match for his sisters at present, so he'll destroy them with this mission. Rosa is still cautious, reminding him again just how dangerous this really is. Jyn is happy to take that fight, but on one condition: he gets the swords. After he returns, he wants his brother's blades. Both Viggo and Rand try to stop him. They even offer him a sword now to prevent him from going, but Jyn isn't buying it. He's not falling for their scheme, because if they were truly on his side, they would have stopped his sister's plot from the very beginning. Rosa accepts his conditions, but she fears the possibility that Jyn might one day become like Luna. For now, though, Rosa is thrilled with her son's incredible development. As the meeting closes, Anne taunts him for his lucky track record. She's already planning to send her own slaves to make sure the job gets done. Jyn doesn't say a word, planning to give them a massive slap to the face on his return. The Intermediate Knights assigned from their faction, you guessed it. They're the same hooligans who have been taunting Jyn since day one. Cassian is one of the three. Jyn shows no distrust, but he's not a fool. Deep down he knows they are just waiting for the right opportunity to kill him. The mission objective is simple: hijack priceless items after infiltration, 4 relics. They rest in the historic sites of Kalen, once a thriving land. But that was before the jails discovered it and mercilessly slaughtered the natives. They pretend to respect Kalen's people, but deep down, it's obvious what's really happening. Let's be real, you and I know this is just enslavement by another name. While the Zyles act reasonable, Jyn knows from his past life they're absolutely ruthless. The sorcerers were after a special relic here, a mirror, one of their top secrets. One journalist managed to expose the truth about it, covering the mirror in detail. The story came from investigations and testimony from Kalen's own people. The mirror is connected to a mystical well of mana. So powerful it can boost someone's power to 7 stars, enough to let the Zyles build an unstoppable army. In this new timeline, that object hasn't been found yet. Jyn is here to make sure history doesn't repeat itself. The relic is in the 3rd warehouse, guarded by the Ziffel, and he'll need to watch out for the sentry spells in the area. Cassian offers his full support, but Jyn knows it's a complete lie. Cassian's men suggest taking a slow, careful approach on the journey. But Jyn has other plans. He's not here to waste time playing games. So he spikes their food with a powerful sleeping drug. Their bodies just drop. Jyn knew it from the start. They were only here to try and kill him. Now he moves forward to finish this mission all by himself. And pay attention here. Our boy explodes into action, sharply dodging every single one of their attacks. With 2 low-class fighters down, Jyn turns his attention to the ordinary-looking lock. He cracks it with ease, revealing a magic circle marked on the ground. They say only those with a specific bloodline can use these magic circles. But that little rule only applies to demons or humans. So Jyn slices open the defeated guard's hand to get the blood he needs for the portal. He could have used his own, but that would leave a trail right back to him. The magic circle activates as soon as it touches the blood, but suddenly reacts violently. But wait, he used the guard's blood, so what went wrong? Jyn turns around. The guys he just took down, they're actually monsters. He jumps back, hitting them with wind magic. Jyn wanted to hide his mana signature, but now he has no choice but to use magic. With his blade, he slashes the demon with a clean strike, but still gets pushed back. Jyn unsheathes the holy blade, and the ugly twins instantly recoil in fear. But here's the kicker: they can regenerate at an absolutely insane speed. Jyn is sure these aren't just ordinary demons, especially since they looked human only a few moments ago. The Ziffel territory is swarming with sorcerers. And now there are terrifying monsters popping up with mysterious origins. The answer is grimly obvious: they're biologically engineered golems. This means the Ziffels are using the people of Kalen as their personal lab rats. These monsters only have the speed and strength of a regular 4-star knight. So yeah, they're tough, but not impossible to beat. Jyn narrows his focus. He targets the golem's core, known to be their greatest weakness. Jyn lands a clean thrust right to this thing's head, but it's not enough. The monster just gets even angrier than it was before. He impales the creature's abdomen, but it still isn't enough to kill it. The final weak spot, the creature's heart, Jyn finally defeats the golem. He can only pity the humans who were twisted into these wretched creatures. He takes down the second golem the exact same way, and you and I just witnessed a tragedy. The transformed human begged for release, and Jyn granted him mercy with a final blow. And it's clear to us now, some outside evil is turning innocent people into monsters. Jin's heart fills with rage as he takes in the horror of the scene. He can't help but wonder if his sisters knew about any of this. But still, the mission comes first. He has no real leverage against them yet. Even if he exposes the Zyle's twisted schemes, experimentation is a different game. Creating biological golems is a massive taboo that would wreck the clan's reputation. So Jyn carefully safeguards the small piece of evidence he managed to find. He'll use it against the Zyles when the time is right, plus the sorcerers here aren't attacking him, meaning this is just meant to look like a regular warehouse. Jyn spots some heavily guarded relics. He'll have to break their spells to get them. His first thought is to carefully solve each spell, but after seeing the biological golems, he decides to get reckless. Watch what happens when he combines shadow force and flame magic. He completely obliterates the site, sending a message the Ziffles won't forget. Back at Runcandell Castle, Anne and Mew are getting a beatdown from their sister, Luna. She is absolutely furious that they sent Jyn on such a deadly mission. Luna demands to know if they're actually trying to wage war against their own brother. A brother who isn't even a flag bearer at his current level. She tells them to reflect on their shameful actions, but Anne dares to fight back. She claims Luna has no right to talk, especially when she's never cared about ranks. Luna just smiles and happily drops the news on them. Jin's mission was a huge success. He recovered the relics and already reported it. He reported its completion directly to their mother. Luna was scolding their stupidity. They just made Jyn look even more capable than his rank implies. Before sending them away, Luna reminds her sisters they're dealing with someone who loves to pay back revenge with double the interest. And let's be real, you and I know why she's so worried. She's genuinely fearing for their lives, knowing Jyn could destroy them. After that verbal smackdown of the century, Luna returns to her room. Her maid shares the exact same concerns. Jyn is not the type to forgive and forget. With his insane rate of growth, he's on track to surpass his sisters. He might even end up killing them. Luna then asks for an update on something else. Who ordered Jin's assassination? It's clear neither Anne nor Mew were responsible. It wasn't an atrocity they were capable of. It couldn't be the Tona twins either. Luna suspects Joshua, Dias, and the others, but they're not easy to investigate. Their ranks are too high. For now, she recommends they just sit back and wait. Besides, with Jin's growth, she isn't too worried about his safety. Our boy has finally returned home, where Jill greets him with tears in her eyes. She was terrified of losing him, ready to lay down her own life to protect him. Jyn has already submitted the mission report, faking that an outside force helped him. More importantly, he shows his real findings, presenting the heart of the golem. Murakin thinks he just got lucky, but then even the great dark dragon is stunned. He's completely shocked when he learns they were biological golems. Murakin immediately fears the worst from the Zipples, confident they're responsible. He insists on visiting the Kulan territory with Jyn himself. Because he has a very bad feeling, and when a dragon gets a bad feeling, you know it's about to get real. Even so, he thinks he'll be fine with Murakin watching his back. Let's be real, Jin's just looking for an excuse to get back into Zeal territory. The three delinquents he laid out, they came back after his mission. Only to get banished from the Runcandell clan for good, Jin's training continues. He's now mastered the singing stones, but Jed tells him to stop training. Why? He's got a meeting with the patriarch himself next week. The Tona twins are absolutely floored. He could become a reserve flag bearer, cementing his reputation until his role in the clan is made official. Our boy is thrilled to finally be operating on his own. That happy smile means one thing: he's about to get even stronger. Meanwhile, Kieran marches his army toward the Garden of Swords. Khan admits the boy used to be exceptional, but now he's in a league of his own. And let me tell you, this kid fights with a whole new level of ambition. Kieran remembers provoking his own siblings when he first arrived here. His goal was simple: destroy his enemies in the long run. They tried everything to stop him, but the fact that he survived proves he can withstand anything his siblings throw at him. He even fought and defeated a white werewolf, not with help. But all on his own. Kieran is proud of his son's grit. He's sure Jyn kept his promises and is certain about the boy's power. Jyn could absolutely defeat that werewolf alone. Still, he's curious. He really wants to know exactly how that fight went down. Kieran finally arrives at the Garden of Swords, where Rosa welcomes him warmly. Apparently, Joshua has been handling most of her duties behind her back. But Kieran still sees Joshua as imperfect, not yet ready. The patriarch says it plainly: their enemies fear him, not his children. As he passes Jyn, Kieran spots some fancy new blades. He wonders if Ran and Vugo actually gave their swords to Jyn as a gift. But when he hears Jyn earned them on a mission, the patriarch just roars with laughter. This kid just keeps surprising him. Kieran and Jyn then have a private meeting. Jyn has never once been to a banquet hosted by his own family. In his past life, he wasn't even allowed to participate. That's how worthless they thought he was, but today, he's the guest of honor. And you and I both know how much this moment means, after all he's been through. Kieran explains the banquet is entirely in honor of Jyn's incredible achievement. Jyn guesses there might be 1,000 guests in total. Kieran confirms the number is way higher than the banquet 7 years ago. The Runcandell's influence has grown so much that every single guest is a major player. Sharon has been out exterminating monsters, honing his skills in the process. But even without him, the family's reputation has been soaring. All because of his father's demigod rank. The patriarch has a deep fear that if he were to die, the very guests at this party could become their enemies. The Runcandells and the Zeals are the two strongest clans in the world. But that balance of power is incredibly fragile. Trust me, everything changes the second Kieran is out of the picture. In that outcome, the Zeals conquer the world, but you and I are here for the now, where Jyn hits his father with a shocking confession. He declares he'll leave the Runcandell clan the moment they fall victim to the Zeals. And the reason is brutally simple: the blame for the loss would fall on one person, the patriarch in charge, and Jyn refuses to serve an unskilled leader. He even returned Vugo's weapon in exchange for getting some top-secret information. Intel on contracts that only the elite flag-bearers are ever supposed to see. He learned that countless clans are secretly in debt to the Runcandells for their services. Some of them still haven't paid up. That's a mountain of leverage right there. Pure blackmail material that Jyn is already planning to use for himself. He'll exploit it all after his father's death, the chances of a Divine Star Knight saving them slim to none, so our boy is planning to become a negotiation mastermind. He'll turn the tides himself. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Siren points out a major flaw in that plan. She reminds him the Zeals could do the same thing, but Jyn is confident they can't. He says they can't exploit others like the Runcandells can. He's firm on his decision. If the next patriarch is incompetent, he's leaving the clan, and after that, a solo quest to dismantle the Zeals all by himself. Kieran is surprisingly impressed. Compared to Jyn, his other children are just too meek. They lack the guts to even discuss these things. Not in front of him anyway. Jyn, on the other hand, is dangerously calculating. Kieran thinks the boy has the best traits of Luna, Mary, and Dias combined. The patriarch knows he doesn't have much time left to hold his position. He can't help but wonder if Jyn can skyrocket through the ranks in time. Kieran wants to discuss one more thing after the banquet is over. And Jin is dead certain the conversation is about his promotion to a reserve flag bearer. He's practically vibrating with excitement for it. Suddenly, a Runcandell servant rushes in. He informs the patriarch of special guests who have arrived completely unannounced. Kieran knows instantly, and get this, it's the Zyles. 5 of them just crashed the party. They arrived with the minor patriarch of their clan. Kieran allows the others in. But he absolutely refuses to welcome Andre. Jin is stunned by his father's move. It's a huge public insult to the Zyles minor patriarch, but he understands why it's necessary. It's a brilliant power play, because if Andre tries to force his way inside now, he'd be directly disobeying Kieran's order. This means Andre has no choice but to obey. Not unless he has a death wish. Kieran then welcomes his guests as patriarch. He proudly announces the banquet is to celebrate the one and only Jyn Runcandell. He highlights the boy's exceptional progress, and the guests politely praise his achievements. Kieran then explains there are only 2 rules for this banquet. First, fighting in the arena is perfectly fine, and the loser will be forgiven. All they have to do is concede defeat, because hey, it's just a friendly banquet. With 1,000 enemies in one room, they have no choice but to play by the rules. They must follow the laws of the Runcandell clan's home turf. However, they are more than welcome to beat each other senseless in the arena as much as they want. It's a chance to settle old scores or make a name for yourself. Even Jin thinks they are one hell of a clan. A battle-driven, absolutely crazy family. Shin tells the boy to enjoy himself. He can fight anyone who dares to challenge him, but he's only allowed to fight the strong. No picking on the weak. Then Kieran drops the final bomb if Jin loses even once. A single fight and he'll be stripped of all his privileges. Talk about pressure. This is where his real test begins. The stakes are high, but then again, Jin never got to speak with his father like this in his past life. Now they're closer than ever before, but still. Jin isn't looking for a happy family reunion, and let me tell you why. His one goal in life is to surpass his father. He enters the banquet, and the Tona twins immediately glom onto him. They're telling him about their progress with the singing stones. But Jin knows what this is really about, stealing some of his spotlight. Just then, the Ken clan's first flag bearer approaches, thanking the Runcandell prodigy. The Tona twins dip out. While Jin talks highly of Ken's achievements, calling him a hero, suddenly an arrogant fool interrupts them. This is Yuger, and he's already disrespecting Jin, who stays cool despite the provocation. He even accuses Jin of disrespecting him. But our boy fires back, and you gotta love this. He says things could have ended much worse for him. The flag bearers of the Ken clan treated Jin with nothing but immense respect. But this guy was acting like he owned the entire place. Yuger realizes instantly that he's just painted a target on his back. He quickly apologizes for getting ahead of himself. And Jin forgives him on the spot, while the gorgeous Luna comments that Jin loves making enemies. She tells him to take it easy. Wondering what would have happened if the man had actually challenged him to a duel, to Jin, it's not a problem. He was betting on Tukalan's patriarch to shut down that foolishness before it started. Luna is impressed by his sharp thinking. Jin just explains he has to learn a ton of things to survive in this family. Especially since he's the youngest of the bunch. I mean, think about it, this prodigy was targeted inside the safest castle in the world. Luna gets curious, asking about the assassin's identity. She hates these parties and wants to leave, refusing to dance with her brother for now and calling our boy a short king. But before she goes, Luna gives her brother a massive hug as a show of affection. This is a power move, making others scared to interact with Jin because they're afraid of the legendary white whale of the Runcandell clan. Of course, some of them get furiously jealous. This guy Bubear is apparently a huge simp for Luna, and he's staring like a total creep. Bishkek is just disappointed. While his sister Margiela teases the man for having a type, Jin is just tired of his role at this banquet. He's wondering what happened to the Zippel intruders. Then, completely out of nowhere, Jyn spots the icy Cirrus from Dorma. She greets him with a look of conviction, as if they've already met somewhere. Jyn acts like this is the first time they've ever seen each other. She praises his accomplishments, reaching 5 stars at such a young age. Jyn returns the compliment, saying Cirrus is doing well as the heir to the secret palace. She taunts him for having way too many siblings. Instead of getting offended, Jyn just agrees. He's almost certain that Cirrus knows about his real identity from his time infiltrating Mammoth. Now watch this, the sharp woman finally gets to the real topic, asking if his leg has recovered. Jyn just smiles and returns an answer confirming he remembers their little interaction. Cirrus wants to know the identity of the man who led that attack, but that sorcerer was long gone. Meanwhile, suspicions about Jyn's identity were rising, the Runcandell prodigy. Jyn plays dumb, using his clan's reputation as proof he can't possibly use magic. Stick with me because Cirrus isn't buying it for a second. She thinks he hired a sorcerer. She gets more and more insistent, dying to know the truth. But she's got it all wrong, thinking Jyn targeted her guards and not Alcaro. The Runcandell prodigy calmly maintains his innocence. Cirrus totally expected this, so she challenges him to a duel just to humiliate him. In a moment of pure savagery, Jyn tells her he can't fight opponents weaker than him. But yeah, he's happy to take her offer. This man knows how to throw shade. Preparations for the duel get underway as Jyn asks for 2 swords for their fight. The arena will be locked for the time being. See, Jyn doesn't want her suffering a humiliating defeat in front of everyone. Cirrus, on the other hand, is hoping to beat the truth out of him when she wins. Jyn lays down his condition. If he wins, she will never speak of their talk in meat. And the fight begins. Jyn rushes in but is blindsided by a special family ability. The Endorma bloodline. Cirrus is bringing out the big guns and the fight has only just started. Jyn feels a pang of sadness that he can't use his own clan's special moves yet. Cirrus unleashes a storm of heavy attacks, but she's in for a surprise. She's stunned to see Jyn counter every single one of her blows impressively. Even so, Cirrus is certain she'll win, all thanks to her sword of ice. While Jyn is a monster of attack and stamina, she plans to finish him with a counter. Jyn acknowledges she's a skilled fighter, and he's already figured out her strategy. She's waiting to deploy a secret move, so he plans to counter with a secret of his own. Based on something he learned from the ancient library, Jyn has an ace up his sleeve. It's a weapon he's been hiding this whole time. Cirrus finally activates it, the 3rd move of the Sword of Sea Ice, the Avalanche. A sharp burst of aura closes in on him. She is the storm itself. Now watch this, he just confidently laughs in her face and cuts right through it. Cirrus is in shock as his sword barely misses her, but that was the plan. It triggers a massive explosion right behind her. Jyn is actually worried about her condition. He didn't expect such a powerful finish. He desperately scans the dust, hoping she survived the attack. He finds her kneeling in defeat, her confidence completely shattered. She just came face to face with death. Jyn consoles her, even apologizing for going too far. The 15-year-old only dodged because he instructed her to at the final moment. Her pride is scarred deep, and Jyn completely understands what she's feeling. But instead of getting angry, Cirrus just tends to the wound on Jyn's face. She's utterly humiliated that Jyn had to be the one to save her life. Accepting her defeat, Cirrus turns away, honoring their promise. The next day, even fewer people arrive for the party. All eyes are on Jyn, who is eager to get in touch with the Ziffals. They're supposed to be just as young, so he's curious how he stacks up against them. He's juggling his thoughts on becoming a flag bearer and investigating Kalen with Murakin. Plus, he's got a shot at success if Murakin helps him find the Well of Mana. That would stop the Zal clan's growth, and speak of the devil, there's Murakin. You and I just witnessed an intense duel, and now he's getting petted by Cirrus. Wild. Alright, a new face shows up, Veridine from the Ziffel clan, but you and I both know Jyn has zero memory of this guy. This clumsy fool, Veridine, on the other hand, has been thinking about Jyn every single day. But Jyn still can't place the clown, even after 2 hints. Veridine's starting to think our boy must have a serious case of amnesia. That is, until Jyn drops the act. He was just messing with him the whole time. What he truly can't believe is how this same guy becomes a legendary 9-star sorcerer in the future, even rising to become the patriarch of his entire clan. And yet right now, he couldn't even find Jyn after looking for him all day. Jin's just disappointed that this guy can't navigate a small hall to save his life. Veridine, meanwhile, is completely blown away by his amazing achievement and tries to one-up him by boasting that he's already a 6-star mage. Now watch this, Jyn isn't just unimpressed, he's actually disappointed. Because at the rate his own magic is improving, he's going to completely surpass Veridine's level by the time he even turns 18. Jyn is absolutely certain that he's on the path to becoming the strongest sorcerer in the entire world. He then asks why the Ziffel clan just decided to pop up out of nowhere. Veridine admits he practically begged to come along just to see Jyn. The whole dramatic show earlier was literally just one teenager trying to get another teenager's attention. Veridine even promises to welcome Jyn to his clan's banquet, no strings attached. He says he doesn't even care if Jyn decides to attack Ziffel territory later on. Jyn just thinks he's an idiot for giving an enemy such an obvious advantage. But get this, our boy has noticed Boire secretly eavesdropping on their conversation. Jyn calls him out, so Boire stumbles into view and asks for Luna's return. Apparently this man was up all night writing love poems for her. The dude thinks he's Romeo, but he really just needs to take a look in the mirror. Even Veridine spits out his drink in disbelief. Jyn is filled with so much rage, he obliterates the gift. He finds the man's very suggestion disgustingly offensive. Jyn orders him to be sent straight to the arena for his insolence. Boire feels totally mistreated. After all, he just wanted to earn the love of the Runcandell family's beautiful goddess. Boire shouts his complaints. But Jyn is so pissed off, he wants to beat the life out of him with his own 2 hands. The Transfigurator simply fails to grasp what he did that was so wrong it deserved this punishment. Bishkal and his sister are both stunned watching this completely unexpected drama unfold. Cirrus is annoyed she can't fight Jyn herself instead of this fatso. Veridine tries to butter her up and gets completely shut down. Unlike yesterday, this match is held out in the open for the public to see. While everyone knows who Jyn is, Boire is a total mystery. He begs for a chance to introduce himself. But before he can even say his name, Jyn smashes a punch right into the meatball's face. Boire, however, shows a flash of confidence, unleashing his aura. Basically, Jyn is now facing someone who is technically a level stronger than he is. And Boire actually manages to land a solid punch right across Jyn's face. He gets arrogant fast. Big mistake, Jyn slams his oversized body to the ground before hammering him with hundreds of punches all over. The fight should be over. But Margiela can't even comprehend the Runcandell's brutal actions. Bishkal explains to his sister that Boire is actually pretty strong himself. She wants Bishkal to go ahead and defeat Jyn in a one-on-one fight. And to honor his sister's wish, he accepts. All right, you and I are about to see a 7-star knight enter the ring, looking way stronger. But Jyn plans to use this fight to learn everything he can about his clan. Jin's even more disgusted by Margiela, who is literally sacrificing her brother to get ahead. He gives props to Bishkal for his loyalty to his sister, though. He feels the same way about his own sisters and hopes Bishkal teaches his goons to watch their mouths. Then the 7-star knight finally drops a name. Bubar, the name hits Jyn like a lightning bolt. He just beat up that same Transfigurator. Flashbacks start hitting him hard, and he begins to realize that Bubar is deeply tied to Bishkal's clan. This is bad. Jyn finds himself completely distracted, but tries to focus on the man in front of him. A very competent knight, the fight explodes, with Bishkal throwing out nothing but pure offensive power. Jyn can't believe he's facing an ordinary 7-star knight. This man's talent rivals his uncle's. Bishk's hammering blows force Jyn onto the back foot. He can barely keep up with the onslaught. He's just trying to survive against that terrifying swordsmanship, but Veridine knows. The Runcandells are at their absolute best when they're cornered. He compares them to a rhino that would never stop until its enemy is completely crushed. Jyn keeps getting pushed back, knowing full well his opponent is barely even trying. He's a 5-star swordsman, fighting a knight who is worlds beyond 7 stars. Now watch this. Jyn is cornered on the verge of losing, but it's exactly then that he feels the same energy from his fight with Kassan. Bishkal dashes forward to finish him off. But Jyn waits for the slash, entering a meditative state. Jin's blade is obliterated by the impact, and Bishkal stops his sword right at Jin's neck. Jyn collapses and Bishkal is declared the victor, but barely. He nearly took a fatal blow straight to the neck himself. Bishkal analyzes the situation, realizing Jyn mastered the blade of the heart skill mid-fight. If he'd been even a millisecond faster, the 7-star knight would be dead. This single fight just confirmed what a massive threat Jyn is to the other clans. He wakes up in his room, pissed that he fainted for 2 whole days. The banquet ended while he was out, so he missed saying farewell to his guests. Jilly tells him everyone was buzzing about the fight while he was unconscious. They couldn't believe such an incredible skill came from a mere 5-star knight. The blade of the heart was a massive help, thanks to Luna's lessons. He couldn't understand what she was teaching him when he was a kid. But that one skill has saved his skin time and time again. He fought like an 8-star knight, and honestly, he feels proud of that achievement. Jyn figured out a whole bunch of things because of this banquet. He learned about Veridine's true strength and even earned Cirrus's friendship. But the biggest prize was discovering Bubar's connection to the Aveliano clan. So what do we take from all this? Jyn's got a new conspiracy to unravel. Before leaving, Cirrus left him some beautiful flowers. Jilly thinks she has a crush. But Jyn knows better. Those flowers are a symbol, the unending fight. It means she's hungry for a rematch one day. Morricone still thinks it's a big deal that he managed to capture her attention at all. Jilly then tells Jyn that his father is expecting him, and Jyn knows. All right, stick with me, because Jin's mission to get exiled is finally happening. His father Kieran is waiting for him in the shadows. Jyn says he's ready to leave. And it's an answer his father seems to approve of. They're in the clan's crypt. A place where only the greatest heroes of the clan are laid to rest. Legends who saved them for millennia, but Kieran reveals the first patriarch is elsewhere. In fact, the very power Jyn now possesses is why they were never able to claim his body. See, after his death, the Zyles clan forced them into a binding contract. A contract to stop using magic forever. They put a powerful curse on the Runcandells. This curse stops them from producing mana right from the moment of birth. Kieran remembers asking the boy how he first got that incredible power. Jyn lied back then, but telling that same lie at his current age would be disastrous. Now Kieran finally learns Solderet made Jyn his contractor. And this is where things get interesting. His father asks if Jyn could conquer the clan. Jyn answers that once he discovers there's nothing in the world more desirable than his own clan, he will absolutely return to take his spot and conquer it. A smile creeps across Tyron's face. He sees the boy's true reason for leaving. A completely different motive. Jyn is given a time limit of 5 years. 5 years to make his choice. Jyn unsheathes his weapon, prepared. He's ready to face his father again when that time is up. Jyn wants to leave now. But there's a problem. Jill is magically chained, unable to use her powers. The Runcandells won't allow Jyn to succeed with any help from outside forces. But don't you worry, our boy is more than ready to handle this situation himself. He feels bad for Jill, who's taking this punishment just for his sake. But she couldn't be happier with his achievements and for becoming a reserve flag bearer. Jyn turns, taking one final look at the Runcandell estate. He realizes this is it. His real journey is only just beginning. Let's pause a second. The perspective shifts to his father, Kieran, lost in thought. He may have become the strongest of his era, but he failed to break the pact. But his son wields the actual power of the god of darkness. Kieran is beyond excited, wondering what Jyn will become and if he's the one. The one to finally free the Runcandels from their lifelong curse. That night, Jyn leaves. No goodbye to the junior cadets, not even to Luna, he just vanishes. He figures she won't mind, thinking he's just away on a training mission. Jill asks where they should head next. Usually, reserve flag bearers go to Mount Lawless. It's the best place to build a reputation by hunting down dangerous criminals. You need that reputation to be accepted as a true flag bearer. Look at Mary. At his age, she crushed powerful warriors and earned the title Mad Woman of the South. Usually, his siblings returned to the clan within 2 years at most. But Siren wanted Jyn to explore the world for much longer. He knows Kieran's real plan. He wants Jyn to fully master his powers before ever coming home, so Jyn sets his sights. His target, the Arkan Kingdom, a dangerous territory controlled by the Ziffles. His reasoning seems simple. He heard mercenaries were causing chaos in the region. Just terrorizing the locals, Jill is pumped and ready for a fight. But our boy lied, and you and I both know the real reason: his past life. He knows a criminal group called Tessing runs a secret underground auction there. Jin's real target is mysterious valuables. But the catch is they can't just use a portal to get into the kingdom instantly. All right, stick with me. We're about to see how Jyn pulls this off. He has to stay completely undercover. No revealing his identity. No using his status as a member of the Runcandell clan. He tells Jill not to worry about it until they actually reach the Giant Kingdom. For now, our boy wants Murakin's help as a private escort. He ignores all the risks as Murakin transforms into his epic dark dragon form. Back at the castle, Luna suddenly feels a sharp jolt. She can't believe Jyn would use such an insane travel method right after leaving the clan. She hopes for his success, even though she's pretty hurt that he didn't even come to say goodbye. After arriving in the Giant Kingdom, Jill is feeling seriously travel sick from how insanely fast they were flying. Murakin, the legendary dragon, is actually deeply worried. While Murakin takes care of his nanny, Jyn heads out to secure some funds. Remember Sember Bill, the guy he saved during his very first real mission? Well, he's back. Turns out Sember is pretty bummed he wasn't invited to the big Runcandell banquet. Lucky for him, Jyn is right here. He appears from the shadows, completely freaking him out. Jin's here for a favor. He needs Sember to get them a huge amount of money. And Sember is absolutely shocked. See, unofficial flag bearers are told to never reveal their true identities, because the whole point of their mission is to survive using their own strength, not the Runcandell family name. This becomes a massive problem when they need to get their hands on cash. Most spend their first few months just scraping together enough money to travel. They get a real taste of poverty and what it's like to be a commoner. But in Jin's case, that's not happening. He gets a major head start thanks to the wealth Sember promised to get for him. As they get ready to teleport, Jyn is just praying that Dragon Boy over here doesn't puke like last time. The reason they didn't just fly straight to the Arkan Kingdom is simple. The Ziffles control a ton of dragons themselves. That flight would basically be a declaration of war. Murakin is seriously ticked off that those pesky mages have marked their territory over the skies, too. Their clan has powerful dragons, and even the gods who made them. On the other hand, the Runcandells have one guy with one dragon that his family doesn't even know exists. You and I both know the odds are stacked against them here. The Ziffles would have scored an easy win if Jin's powerhouse father wasn't around. While lost in thought, Jyn has a sudden epiphany. It's impossible for one generation to have so many contractors tied to it. But his train of thought is cut short when they reach the teleportation gate. Jyn is now using a fake identity to fit their journey. They wait for the gate to activate while Jill comments on how ridiculously good their clan's forged documents are. They can bypass any security system with total ease. The teleportation begins, and Murakin looks like he's about to have a heart attack. Jyn recalls it's been 15 long years since he last set foot in the Arkan Kingdom. They are finally here. Jyn spent the final year of his past life in this very capital. Not much has changed. The people look just as lifeless as he remembers. Even Jill senses the dark atmosphere hanging over the city, a result of the local crime syndicate's work. Jyn decides they need to find lodging before hunting their targets. They find an ordinary house, and Murakin is salty. Jyn chose this broken-down shack instead of a nice apartment. And the dragon is complaining model. He says he wants to keep a low profile on their spending for now. Murakin has his doubts. But he rolls with it. As they step inside, the scummy innkeeper is shocked. He can't believe he actually has guests. He brings them some drinks, welcoming them with a smile. But get this, here's where the party ends. The juice. It's spiked and Murakin knows it instantly. He smashes the glass right in the guy's face. For pulling such a pathetic trick, Jyn then kicks him clear across the room for having the nerve to mess with his crew. Murakin starts beating him mercilessly. No remorse whatsoever. Turns out, Jedu, the information merchant, was an old buddy of Jyn's from back in the day. He even helped Jyn find a place after he was kicked out of the Runcandell clan. Now you and I are about to learn the real story. This same guy secretly betrayed Jyn in his past life, tricking him out of all his money. Just thinking about how stupid he was back then makes his blood boil. That's why he doesn't care that Murakin is beating Jedu to a pulp. He's going to squeeze him dry. Jedu starts screaming that he's a 5-star combatant. But Murakin could not care less. He just keeps beating him black and blue. He wasn't planning on stopping, but Jyn steps in as Jedu is on the verge of death, begging for his life. Jin's in the mood for some interrogation. He makes it crystal clear, give a bad answer, and the merchant dies. Jedu spills everything, answering Jin's first question and going all the way to the part where he admits his disgusting business deals in human trafficking. He begs to be spared, offering to help them. His original plan was to knock them out and sell them off. Jyn stomps on his hand with a crack, crushing his fingers as he reveals his connection to the underground auction house. Now that Jyn has a confession about Tessing, he's ready to make a deal. And here's the part that'll make you scratch your head. To his friend's shock, Jyn wants to patch the guy up. He explains they're dealing with a crime syndicate and an underground auction house. A perfect target to crush and build their reputation. But for that, they need a guide who's completely under their thumb. And Jedu is the perfect candidate, so Jyn himself heads out to get a healer. Stepping outside, he feels the pressure of hiding the truth from his friends. They still have no idea that he's been reincarnated. The doctor patches the merchant back up. Jedu is incredibly on edge. He's wondering what kind of monster he just made a deal with. But one thing's for sure, he does not want to disappoint Jyn, speaking of whom, Jyn tells him to lead the way. They arrive at a massive, beautiful estate that looks anything but a criminal hideout. The guards are surprised to see Jedu return with his so-called guests. But his name gets them inside without any trouble. Jyn walks in to find musicians and waiters at what looks like a premium party. You'd never guess these people were part of a criminal syndicate. Jedu explains the organization has a public face, a leader named Sula. The real boss hides in the shadows. His name is Spiderhand Alu, and he built this whole place to hide his dirty work. But Alu isn't just some thug. He has enough influence to crush the entire underworld. He's also a powerful martial artist, way stronger than Jyn is right now. Then Jedu drops the bombshell. The Runcandells are also tied to him. While Jill and Murakin laugh it off as a joke, Jin's face says it all. You and I know this is dead serious. It's possible that one Runcandell is responsible for this whole mess. And trust me, this might just be the one who cursed him at birth. We're talking a 9-star curse, designed specifically to destroy a swordsman's talent. In the 15 years of his new life, this is the very first real clue. Jyn has finally found a thread that connects to the curse from his past life. His new mission: investigate a man named Alu and crush the crooks under his control. The master plan is to take down all their enemies in a single day. Jilly urges caution. She reminds him how skilled their enemies are and that they're walking into a platoon of sorcerers. But Jyn still wants to take on the challenge. He's not backing down. He has a plan so completely insane that Murakin can't even begin to understand what he's thinking. Jilly agrees it's a terrible idea. Jin's ready to call it off if things go sideways, though. And get this, Jedu leads them straight into an underground auction house. What are they selling? Human beings. Jyn watches and immediately understands. That slimy little Jedu was planning to knock them out and sell them too. He's just thankful he doesn't see any children among the captives. Murakin is anxious, but Jyn is patiently executing his plan. He's waiting for a very specific item to appear. The object he's hunting for is a ring artifact. A whole week passes. They've been coming here every day, never making a single purchase. Jedu nervously explains they have to buy something, or the organization might get suspicious. Jyn just leaves the problem for the merchant to solve, not his concern. Jedu agrees on the outside, but inside he's panicking. Tessing won't forgive this. But just his luck, a magic book artifact finally comes up for auction. It's advertised as a priceless item from the sorcerer who once ruled the world. Jyn instantly recognizes it's a fake. Of course it is. The Xyle would never allow a real treasure like that to be traded out in the open. It's been the same thing all week. Every item is a fake, but foolish sorcerers keep on buying them. Okay, but you and I need to pay attention, because something about Chenmi's artifact is different. Even Murakin can feel the immense power coming from it and insists Jyn buy it. Jyn throws down 150 gold, an amount nobody there can even dream of matching. After making his first purchase, Jyn immediately buys a second relic. Murakin is totally confused, wondering why he's spending so much money. Jyn pretends he doesn't know, but he's fully aware the object belonged to the Hysterclan. It's a memory of his teacher from his past life. He wants to save it. A gift in case he ever gets the chance to meet her again. After the auction, Murakin inspects the book and is thrilled to see it's genuine. But he has no idea what to make of the second book Jyn bought. It's written in a special language that only a handful of people can even read. With his mission accomplished, Jyn immediately calls out his next objective. He wants to meet the leader of the entire syndicate, and he wants to meet him now. Jedu says that's way beyond his power, but Jyn cooks up a sinister plan. He forces the merchant to name-drop Vidin Zeal, trapping him into setting up a meeting. Jedu completely loses it, thinking the real, legendary Veridine is standing right here. He scrambles to Alu's place to announce that Vidin demands an audience. Alu's men show up. But instead of playing along, Jyn smashes a fist right into the guy's face. The real fight starts now. With a powerful fireball, the poor guard tries to clear things up, but Jyn just roasts him for being disrespectful. He wants Alu to meet him out in the open, on his knees. The humbled crime boss does exactly as he was instructed. He apologizes for his lack of respect. While Jedu thinks he's hit the jackpot by getting on the good side of Veridine Xyle himself. And trust me, even the spell Jyn used was insane, way too powerful for anyone his age. See, a week earlier, Jyn explained his plan to impersonate Veridine. It was a completely wild idea to fool Alu, who was tied up with the Zuuls and wouldn't dare risk testing Veridine's real identity. But that wasn't Gilly's biggest worry. What she truly feared was their own clan discovering Jin's little impersonation act. He forces Alu to lift his head and presents the secret magic tomes. Alu quickly apologizes for trading them without the clan's okay. Jyn acts offended that Alu sold precious Xyle heirlooms to ordinary folk. The syndicate leader just says he's a martial artist, not someone who knows how to handle ancient artifacts. Alu offers to get the relics back. But Jyn is so enraged, he demands access to all the client logs, threatening that his clan will investigate this matter themselves. Alu realizes he's in checkmate. He thinks his entire life inside the Arcan Kingdom is over. With the Xyle family this furious, it's pretty clear his whole organization will be wiped off the map if they get any angrier. So Alu presents him with every piece of information he has. He even offers to bring highly confidential documents over from his house. Now watch this. Jyn immediately calls his bluff, saying Alu would just use that time to plot something behind his back. With his escape plan exposed, Alu can't even manage to say a single word. He turns and orders his men to keep Jin's group busy while he's gone. Alu is losing it, desperately searching for a way out of this nightmare. Meanwhile, Gilly and Murakan scan the logs. Murakan sends the kid a message through telepathy. He knows Alu will soon figure out Jin's true identity, but our boy isn't worried. That's because Jyn finally found the exact ring he was so desperately searching for. Gilly, the best nanny, is concerned about his reckless methods. While the info merchant Jedu returns with a list of all the slaves Jyn asked for. Jyn just shoves his way past Alu's guard, knocking him out with a single punch. Jedu has no idea what's happening, but he knows this mission with Jyn has put him in serious danger. So much so that Jyn tells him to run to the Vimenth Empire because he's not going to survive here. But Jedu wants to stick with Jyn. He begs to stay by Veridine's side, thinking he's about to share in all the glory. That's when Jyn reveals the truth. He's not Veridine at all. The poor informant's dreams are absolutely crushed. 2 hours after that, Alu returns, confirming that the real Veridine has silver hair. This means they were completely played by a bunch of nobodies. Alu learns they escaped right after getting the information about all the slaves. In a total rage, he smashes his own man into the wall, killing him on the spot. Alu demands his men find the imposters so he can repay them for this ultimate humiliation. Meanwhile, Murakan is worried the crime syndicate's leader will hunt them down. Jyn just says he needed to confirm a rumor, and you and I both know that's where the real story begins. All right, let's jump right back in. The Runcandells have secured the goods. Merkin's dying to ask how Jyn got his hands on that ancient ring, but first, they've got a fight to deal with. Alu has arrived, fully armed and ready to kill Jyn and his entire crew, but our 5-star knight, he's completely unfazed. He tells Alu they've already leaked his secret client list to the entire world. His life as he knows it is over. With that settled, the fight begins. Jyn tells Merkin to handle the grunts. He's taking Alu on himself. Alu thinks they're underestimating him and orders his sorcerers to attack. But Merkin just waits, letting them come right at him. He's strong enough to block every single one of their blows without even moving from his spot. Merkin becomes a one-man army, absolutely annihilating the rest of Alu's men. Panicking, Alu tells them to hit Jyn and Jill with magical spells instead. But their magic is pathetically weak. Jyn blocks every single spell with ease. All thanks to that stone Luna gifted him a long time ago. The Dark Dragon is getting bored by their pathetic numbers, about to show its true power. Alu completely snaps, losing his mind and slaughtering his own men in a rage. Now that Merkin has cleared out the small fries, it's time for the main event. Pay attention. The enraged leader demands to know who ordered this mission. He charges Jyn, and his speed is actually pretty impressive. Alu makes it clear he is not going to die here. Merkin warns Jyn this time he's facing a true 7-star fighter, not like Bishkul, who was clearly holding back. Alu sees Jyn as nothing more than an overconfident kid for daring to challenge him. The swordsman draws his blade, and their first clash rings out between them. Alu is stunned. He realizes this guy isn't a sorcerer, he's a swordsman. He immediately forces Jyn on the defensive, hammering him with a series of heavy attacks. Jyn tries his best to counter, but quickly realizes he's dealing with someone completely out of his league. Alu's not focused on Jyn, though. He's wondering why Merkin, who's obviously way stronger, is just standing by. Merkin is actually enjoying the show, and I know what you're thinking, but just watch. Jilly shares her concerns, but the Dark Dragon insists this is necessary for Jin's growth. If a miracle happens, Jyn might just pull off a win here. Alu overwhelms him. He's convinced he's about to win, but the thing about the Runcandels is that they're used to fighting enemies that are way stronger than them. Suddenly, Jyn unleashes an incredible magic spell, blasting Alu away. The guy is starstruck. He's fighting a magic swordsman. Jyn coats his sword with lightning. Alu cuts the attack down, thinking Jyn is just wasting his time, and then a shadowy glow appears as Jyn chants, "Awaken Helm," the shocked martial artist. Cannot believe what he's witnessing. A dark swordsman, wreathed in shadows, has taken form. Jyn is using this special ability to close the gap between them. With just a few slashes, the fight is already over. It happened that fast. Murakin explains that Jyn activated an artifact called the Multa Rune. It's an incredible defensive weapon that protects the user from all attacks. Below the 7-star level, and that, my friends, is the insane power of that new ring. An object that wasn't supposed to be discovered for several years into the future. But luckily for Jyn, he has it now, and with Alu's body cut down. On the ground, Jyn demands to know about his connection to the Runcandels. The Dark Dragon questions why he's so desperate to find out the man's identity. But with his last breath, Alu realizes he just went up against the youngest pureblood Runcandel, and he seems to know about the assassination attempt on Jyn as a child. Alu leaves him with a chilling warning: fear the one he's looking for. Murakin is completely lost, but for Jyn, a light bulb just went off. He now knows this man's identity is way more important than he thought. He's positive there's a connection to his family. Murakin just doesn't get it. But Jyn is determined to hunt down this mysterious person. He knows it's critical. His clan's safety depends on it. Jyn meditates, replaying the man's words. He's confident it's one of his siblings from the clan. The only question is who. It had to be someone who recognized Jin's talent early on and wanted to eliminate the threat. Now pay attention, because there's only one person who fits that profile. Joshua Runcandell, the leading candidate to become the next patriarch of their clan. Over the next few days, news of Tessing's destruction spreads across the world, all thanks to Jeddah. And while he was interrogated by the Zippels, it worked out in the end. Because Jyn profited the most from the entire situation, nabbing ancient books. He found the special ring and even defeated a 7-star knight with his own power. But Gilly shares her concerns, worrying that he's still underestimating the true capabilities of a 7-star knight, and Jyn himself confirms it. He admits he's still weaker than his nanny at this stage. Their tracks, however, are covered thanks to the merchant, so it's time to head to the next location. The free city of Tikkun. Murakin is confused, but Gilly instantly realizes Jin's true intention: to hunt down the 7-colored bird. I know what you're thinking, and no, it's not some kind of rainbow parrot. They're more like a top-tier intelligence agency with a massive reputation. But to Jyn, they're villains, and he's going to hunt them down. As they travel by sea, Jyn starts to realize he can't keep finding excuses. His knowledge from his past life is a huge advantage, but he can't explain it to Gilly. Or Murakin. Worse, he still has to investigate so many different groups and clans. He's still bothered by that loose end from before, not to mention the forbidden magic they discovered back in Colin, with so much to investigate. Tikkun City is the perfect place to lie low for a while. Murakin starts talking about Solderet's spell, the one placed on that ancient relic. It's a form of light magic. A spell that was used to protect against the Zippels, who made sure to eradicate anyone in their path. That's what happened to Solderet too. And it'll be the Runcandel's fate if the Zippels manage to master Shadow Force. It's a heavy burden to carry, so Murakin insists that Jyn learn some new spells. He casts a shadow spell, totally confusing Jyn, who was expecting light magic. But then the room erupts in a brilliant flash, completely blinding the boy. Murakin is having a great laugh. Turns out, this blinding magic can be used for both offense and defense. It's one of Solderet's creations, so Jyn knows it's valuable. Murakin, however, is more curious about the second relic from the Hister clan. The codex is beyond his understanding, so he doubts there's anything useful inside. But Jyn insists on keeping the book, and trust me, that book is going to be important. And deal with its secrets later. After a whole week of traveling, the group finally arrives in the free city of Tikkun, and trust me, this place is gorgeous. It's totally free from the influence of the Runcandells and the Syphils. The perfect vacation spot. Gilly recommends they find a place to stay. Our dragon boy is hoping for something way more lavish this time around. But Murakin's sudden transformation catches the eye of a little girl who clearly saw a cat turn into a full-grown man. And now she wants to learn how to do it. Gilly and Murakin are completely stumped. So they hilariously try to gaslight the little girl into thinking she was hallucinating. Yeah, you and I both know that's not gonna work. So Jyn is stuck playing politics with a tiny, loud-mouthed gremlin who stubbornly believes what she saw with her own eyes. Gilly thinks they should just take her to the guards, but that could cause immense trouble if rumors start spreading. Murakin tries to talk, but she just hits him with a death stare for stupidly transforming right in the middle of the city. Julia then spots the guards, but she doesn't like being around them, saying they cause her mother trouble. Feeling like something's off, Jyn assumes that Julia's mother must be some kind of criminal, but a guard instantly recognizes Julia's face and calls for the chief. He tells Jyn that she's the daughter of their chief in command. So no, not a criminal. In fact, she's this hardcore woman that looks like she could skin you alive. But the moment she sees her daughter, she just melts into the sweetest, most lovable person. Julia runs right into her mother's embrace. Alyssa properly introduces herself as the chief of the defense guards. Jyn returns the kind regards, explaining he's just traveling with his friends. He then asks for a recommendation for a place to stay. Well, before that, the little runt tells her mother something. Alyssa happily shares a recommendation letter for Jyn to show inn owners around the city, promising them a good place to stay. The group leaves, but Alyssa is still concerned about the news she heard from her daughter. Julia snitched, having seen Murakin transform from a cat. What's more is that transformations like that are only possible for dragons, which worries her. Our heroes are staying in their new inn, getting premium treatment unlike last time. They're just happy to get so lucky right after their arrival. Gilly wants to go grab some ice pops. This feels less like a mission and more like a full-on vacation. Murakin is curious how the boy is planning to handle the intelligence agency. Jyn explains that he's here to locate someone first. The seven-colored bird agency is commanded by Kashmir, the Phantom Sword. He's an incredible swordsman. So good, in fact, that the Runcandell family acknowledged his swordsmanship skills, but that's the only thing the world knows about him. Okay, pay attention here, because this is where it gets crazy. In 10 years, it's revealed that Kashmir is the fallen prince of the empire. After that, he convinces the empire and the two most powerful clans to form Tikkun into its own nation, becoming its very first king. This man is not only an excellent swordsman, but a sharp strategist laying low for years, just waiting for the perfect moment. Jyn is hoping to make an ally out of him, but he doesn't know how. Suddenly, Strawberry Pie bursts into the scene, explaining that the inn has been completely emptied. There's no one there. A hand reaches out from the shadows to grab her. It's Kashmir himself. Don't blink, because this is where it all begins. One step ahead of them, Murakin is absolutely furious because Kashmir just laid a hand on Gilly. Trust me, you do not want to see this dragon angry. The dark dragon unleashes a sliver of his terrifying power, a clear warning to back the hell off. But Kashmir wasn't supposed to show up this early. They've been keeping their identities secret, so Jyn has no idea what's going on. He's terrified Murakin is about to murder everyone. which would completely wreck his plans of getting Kashmir on their side. Jyn uses Gilly as his anchor to reason with Murakin, who finally dials back his power. He snatches Gilly away like she's his property and roars at the man for acting so friendly. Forget Kashmir running the interrogation. Murakin has completely flipped the script on him. Jyn steps in, asking the swordsman to lower his weapon. Kashmir is floored that this simple traveler even knows who he is. And now, get ready for this, Jyn reveals his direct connection to the Runcandels. Both Murakin and Gilly are completely stunned. They have no idea what is going through his head right now. A clueless Kashmir just stands there as Jyn suggests they find a quieter place to talk. They're now sitting across from the swordsman after he sent his troops away. He came here investigating the existence of a dragon, an accusation that enrages Murakin. But Kashmir is 100% certain he's facing a real dragon. He knows it was only because of Jyn that they survived that initial onslaught. Kashmir even knows about Gilly. He senses she has no aura, wondering what she's doing traveling with this mysterious kid. Kashmir is confused and gets straight to the point about the dragons. He can't understand how Runcandels can form contracts with dragons. Only the Zifu clan can do that. Jyn stresses that not even his own clan knows about this information, which is to be expected. Kashmir seems worried that Jyn just revealed such a massive secret so casually. Jyn then asks what led the man to investigate a dragon in the first place. Kashmir happily spills his own secrets. And here's the big one: Julia is actually his daughter. Since she was the one who saw Murakin's transformation, he came to check it out. Julia has a special contract, which means her eyes can't be deceived. Murakin doesn't like the sound of that at all. If the girl is a divine contractor, it makes no sense that her own dragon is nowhere in sight. Kashmir's face falls, explaining that Julia's dragon has been missing. They suspect the Sephu clan might be behind it, but they have no proof. Even Murakin is annoyed that a powerful dragon could be kidnapped for a year. The worst part, you and I both know this is gonna hurt. Julia will soon succumb to madness if she doesn't find her guardian. Kashmir is horrified. He can't believe it. Murakin explains that Julia has the power to see the future, an ability that even the strongest dragons struggle to handle. The only reason she hasn't lost her mind is her young age. But another year like this, Murakin is certain the girl will completely lose her sanity. When Jyn asks him to explain, Murakin adds that her power is governed by causality. If Julia has seen a future, then she is forced to act on it. Trying to bend that law brings a punishment that is absolutely catastrophic. Suffer a future of absolute destruction. Basically, you and I need to know that Julia sees the world completely differently, and she needs a guardian dragon just to stay sane. Hearing this agonizing news, Kashmir is shattered. He collapses to his knees, admitting that not even his connections to the seven-colored bird intelligence agency can help them track down a new dragon. The Dark Dragon figures Julia was looking for them because the god Asmal pointed her their way. But naturally, he refuses to help. This is way out of his league. Jyn sees this as the perfect chance to put the man in his debt by saving his daughter. He tells the broken man to pull himself together, because they will personally track down a dragon for Julia. It's the perfect leverage. Jyn needs to have a favor he can call in from Kashmir later. But considering the situation, this is no easy task. Since Taion City has no loyalty to any single clan, Murakin demands the data on every single dragon currently in Vymouth. Jyn immediately understands this is their last-ditch effort to save Julia's life. Elsewhere, Quintal, a beautiful dragon, is talking with Enya, her contractor. Enya is blown away by Jyn Runcandell's epic stories, but her dragon just scoffs at the brat. She thinks Anna is far more special for being chosen by the god of time. Suddenly, a chill runs right down her spine. She knows this bone-chilling feeling can only mean one thing. Signaling Enya to get to safety, Runcandell gets ready to face the darkness that has just arrived in their lands. Don't blink because Murakin is in his dragon form, ready to unleash his dark energy. He's calling out every dragon in the entire area. He orders Jyn to stay hidden and completely conceal his presence as the dark magic begins to pour out. Jyn recalls how Murakin got the list, identifying 4 known dragons in the region. He had a feeling it would be a huge problem if they all showed up at once. Before they left, Kashmir offered his deepest gratitude, begging them to save his daughter. Murakin tells the man to completely exhaust Yulia's energy every single day until she gets her new dragon. Anything to tire her out will give the child a better chance. Kashmir promises to do it. The second thing, it was about some ice pops. Poor Jilly wanted one earlier, but couldn't get any because they showed up. This guy is bribing her with treats and even won her over by comforting her dad. Jyn realizes that deep down, the legendary dark dragon is actually a pretty good guy. He warns Jyn of the incoming dragons. Rabas and Uniel are approaching at incredible speed. Jyn quickly puts on his armor to hide who he is. Murakin explains that he used to beat these guys up for stepping into his territory, dragon politics. So now he's got enemies. While he's making a grand entrance, the Earth Dragons are desperately begging him to leave. I know what you're thinking, and yeah, they are terrified. Their contractor might see him, which would create a massive problem. But instead of listening, Murakin is just offended. They try to reason with him, finally revealing that Quigonnell is pissed and wants to kill the Dark Dragon. The Silver Dragon, it turns out, has some serious history with him. In fact, Jyn learns she's his damn ex-girlfriend. Both Earth Dragons start to bolt because their battle could cause insane destruction, but it's already too late, Quigonnell. All right, stick with me, because she makes a roaring entrance with her dragon breath, and Murakin warns Jyn to brace himself. The impact is coming, and she's clearly not finished. He's forced to evade every single strike. Her power creates a massive vortex in the ocean, and all her attacks are 8-star level or higher. Jyn is completely terrified by her sheer strength, while Quigonnell just roars in frustration. She's furious he even had the nerve to show up at all. Then, Jyn learns that Murakin was in a relationship with this dragon for 500 years. He tells Jyn to get Bradamante ready. Just in case things get really ugly, he knows exactly how powerful she is, and it's going to take every last scrap of Jyn's power, all concentrated into one massive attack. That's their only hope of even damaging her. Quigonnell then shifts into her full dragon form. She has a vicious, burning desire to end Murakin's life. He tries to talk some sense into her, even offering to resolve their conflicts later. But she's just not listening. And just when you think they might talk it out, nope. She's so pissed she fires an immense beam, ignoring him. Then she tackles him with pure ferocity, trying to bite him, but he swiftly evades the attack. He has no idea what is making her so infuriated. She tries to unleash another beam, this time at point-blank range. Murakin barely shields himself from the blast, thanks to Jyn's help. Our hero is starting to think his powers are the only way to get an edge on her. Murakin explains she's actually weaker now, but enraged, she tears right through the shadow force. She calls his power a pitiful attempt. The silver dragon then lashes out at him. She's furious that he's become so weak. Murakin begs for her to stop, but this only ends up making Quigonnell way angrier. Murakin finally bites her down, demanding to know why she's still so mad about their breakup. The silver dragon dishes out a powerful punch to remind the dumbass that he deserves a proper beating. But here's the thing, that move gave Jyn just enough time to make his move. The silver dragon did not see this coming. It's all up to Jyn, and he has to attack. The exact same spot where Murakin struck her, a shadow veil concentrates on his sword as Jyn slices her with a powerful shadow force release. The attack cuts clean through her scales, slashing an entire arm right off her body. Murakin quickly rushes in to rescue Jyn. The massive silver dragon plummets into the sea below. Jyn is completely exhausted. He used every last bit of his strength to pull off that move. He thought they'd actually killed her, but come on, this is Quigonal. She's way more powerful than a typical dragon, especially because she governs time itself. That's when Jyn realizes how bad this is. Really bad news for them. They came here looking for Yulia's dragon, but instead, they're the ones who are about to go missing. The silver dragon replenishes her body, turning back the clock on her own state. And yeah, you heard that right, it's a cheat magic that drains immense energy. But it's more than enough to let her survive death. Quigonal then appears in her human state. Murakin is baffled. He thought they ended their relationship on good terms, so he doesn't understand why she's this angry at him. The silver dragon is enraged, screaming that not only did he leave her, he did so without a single explanation. Murakin shouts right back, roaring that it's not his fault. He knew they weren't meant to be. And Jyn is just caught in the middle of this insane couple's quarrel. Quigonal finally recognizes Jyn. She knows he's the newest contractor of the God of Shadows. Murakin explains that their kind is at risk of extinction, but she thinks his words are total rubbish since he's not the type to care about things like that. Murakin counters that he killed plenty of dragons. For her sake, too, he turns to Lev, thinking she's useless in helping them. But then she apologizes and finally agrees to hear about Yulia's situation. At last, Jyn overhears them talking about Bayoretta, the wind dragon. This beast is the guardian of a minor patriarch from the Ziffel clan. And yup, it's 100% clear they're the ones who kidnapped leader. Quignal, the silver dragon, leads the team to her home, a quiet cabin. It's just outside the Vimeth Empire's capital. She learns about the youngest Runcandell and immediately recognizes his connection to Tamar's powers. After all, the three of them were legendary companions, she knows. She gets back to business. Bayoretta took later using pure deception. The deal was just to teach the little dragon some spells, nothing more. Now a young girl's life is on the line, all alone without her guardian. The silver dragon admits she never trusted Bayoretta's real intentions. He was even demanding to meet her contractor, and Yao was safe because she's famous. But with Yulia, they saw their chance to snatch her dragon, since nobody knew. Now here's where Jyn drops his master theory on the Ziffel clan's plan. First, they're taking out any contractors not under their thumb. Second, they're trying to hoard as many gods as they can through contracts. Jyn remembers from his past life that the god of time's contractor was different. He was a Ziffel clan member, which can only mean Enya was probably killed. And the same goes for Yulia, who likely had her contract straight up revoked. But the silver dragon still isn't buying it, not completely. Why would the Ziffels need more contractors when they already have a massive army? Jyn hits back with a cold, hard truth about human greed. It has no limits, it's only logical they're hungry for even more power. Jyn then cuts deep, saying Quignal is just pretending not to see it. Because deep down, she's actually terrified of the sorcerers. Okay, I know what you're thinking, that's a death sentence, but watch this. Instead of exploding in rage, the silver dragon just laughs. She admits she's never seen Murakin act so cautious around her. She's ready to do whatever it takes to keep her contractor safe. And even more, Quignal is ready to help Jyn recover later. Grabbing his shoulder, she remembers her time with Tamar, seeing the resemblance. She swears loyalty to his descendant, even commenting on his provocative style. Right then, Enya bursts in, totally ignoring orders to stay inside. She's a clumsy, shy girl who has a massive crush on Jyn Runcandell. The poor guy is just desperately trying to figure out what is going on. Quignal explains it simply. Enya is his #1 fangirl. And she absolutely cannot contain her excitement in front of her idol. Surprisingly, she's a commoner, which makes Jyn think she must be a genius. The silver dragon is annoyed. She disobeyed a direct order to stay put. Quignal is barely holding it together, while Jyn guesses Enya had it rough. Being a commoner at the academy must have meant serious bullying. Jyn calmly says he came to discuss a way to ensure Enya's safety. And just like that, you and I are watching her fall for him completely. She's convinced her Prince Charming has arrived to save her from the bad guys. She's beyond ready to go with him. This girl is absolutely starstruck. That her obsession with Jyn could drag her into the very heart of the Runcandell clan's war. The kid is floored, discovering his own clan secretly has dungeons and even dragons. Meanwhile, Murakin is still completely out cold. With just the two of them, Quintel makes it clear she's only helping Jyn because of who he used to be. He's become a shadow of his former self, a total loser compared to his original strength. At his current level, the Wind Dragon would absolutely destroy him. So Quintel plans to take charge if, and when that fight goes down, Jyn gets curious about the Berida's dragon. Just how strong is this thing really? Quintel explains that if Merkin had his original power back, they would have been annihilated in their last battle. The Silver Dragon tells Jyn to stay put in the cabin until they can track down the Wind Dragon. Jin's surprised, realizing how much she secretly cares. He tells her he can handle Murakin on his end. Quintel adds that Enya will be waking up soon, and he needs to be careful with her this time. Jyn is stunned when she literally wakes up right in front of him. For him, this girl is like a persistent zombie. After explaining everything to Enya, she understands she's a major target for the Zippel clan. She puts her full trust in Jin's power and agrees to leave the next day. Quintel tells her to start packing, saying she'll call the academy and arrange a sick leave for her. Now the only thing left is the Wind Dragon. But suddenly, a strange man's voice calls out from outside. The Silver Dragon can't believe anyone would be out here in the middle of nowhere for firewood. You and I both know this is bad news. Jyn instantly realizes it's a trap. He's certain the guy outside isn't just some random person. He's a spy who's probably been watching them for a while. Hearing this, Quintel rips the door open before grabbing the man by his throat. She's about to crush him if he doesn't start talking. Then, from the cabin's shadows, another figure emerges, the real mastermind hiding in plain sight. He threatens to call in his entire task force if Quintel doesn't let his man go. But this girl is beyond pissed. She dashes forward, ready to beat the life out of this guy. Her punch sends a massive shockwave, but it's not even close to enough to affect him. He didn't move an inch, just absorbed her attack. A punch with the full power of a dragon was just blocked. Okay, let's process that. We are dealing with a whole different threat level here. It's obvious he's someone on another level, way more powerful than the task force captain. He's Lotz, the Emperor's right-hand man. A master swordsman whose skill is legendary, even in the Runcandell clan. He's strong enough to cause immense trouble. Jyn is lucky his armor is concealing his identity. Lotz apologizes for barging in and reveals his real purpose. He came here to check on Jyn and Murakin, who had just crossed into their empire. But Quintel isn't about to let him off that easily. Lotz hits back with a swift threat, reminding the Silver Dragon that her own contractor is standing right there, completely defenseless. Even if she kills him, Enya won't survive the aftermath. With that warning, he turns to leave, but the murderous Silver Dragon isn't finished. She tells Lotz she will repay this favor by taking away every single thing he holds precious in his life. Hearing that chilling warning, the man finally leaves. He messed with the wrong dragon, but his mission was already complete. Beyond the mission, he warns his squad to stay as far away from Quintel as possible. Possible because if they dare to mess with her, they're stepping into hell, and you're about to see why. In fact, that single punch split his face open, drawing blood. The man knows he's about to be crushed. Smartly, he refuses to get his squad wiped out by provoking the Silver Dragon. Quickel is enraged at herself for the stupid call to keep Enya stuck inside the Vanth Empire. They could have done so much more if it wasn't for Jin's warning. Thankfully, it's not too late to make it right and get her to safety. The next morning, Jyn reassures Quintel about Enya's well-being. They've made sure she's protected. And Murakin is even there in the shadows, ready to step in if things go south. With her safety guaranteed, it's time for the real show, time to handle Beretta. They'll wait for Murakin's return and then they make their move. A week passes, he's finally back. And he's got a complaint. Cantle made this cabin look just like their old one. He's not trying to go back to her, but those were precious days to him. They lived peacefully with the first patriarch. It was so much fun back then. But reliving it now just gives the dark dragon a massive headache he can't shake. Quantal mocks him, calling him weak-minded for getting sentimental. She gets everyone back on track with Beretta's response. They need to hurry to the uninhabited island. Now, arriving on location, Jyn and Murakin are hiding, observing the whole thing. While talking strategy, Kikantel recommends a simple approach. Walk right up and beat the truth out of him if he lies about LRI. Murakin loves the idea, thinking he could jump in and help double-team the Wind Dragon. But the Silver Dragon is offended by that. This is a matter of a dragon's honor. It means Beretta won't bring backup to jump her, either. Quickle is more than confident she's going to win this, which, let's be honest, is usually a massive red flag. And Jyn thinks Beretta will absolutely bring backup to take her down. The Wind Dragon finally appears. And he brought Andre, a minor patriarch of the Xiles, right along with him. I know what you're thinking, and yeah, Cantle roars at him for being a coward. Beretta's excuse, his contractor got the letter instead, so technically, he's just going with the flow. He's done with the small talk and wants her to get to the damn point. Kikantel immediately demands to know about LRI, which makes the Wind Dragon burst out laughing, and ugly. Mocking sound as if he's ridiculing her for being so foolish. Kikantel gets even angrier, trying to stress how serious this is. But the Wind Dragon isn't giving any straight answers. He's just pushing her buttons, backing her into a corner with every word. The Wind Dragon warns her not to rebel against the ciphers. Jyn and Murakin are still hiding. Beretta is done playing around and straight up threatens her life. But of course, this is exactly what she was waiting for. The epic fight kicks off as the Wind Dragon unleashes furious cyclones to overwhelm Queel. Transforming into her dragon form, Quintantel lets out a bone-chilling command. Free LRI if you want to live. The maniac Andre just looks more excited by her power. But unfortunately for her, she's also dealing with a powerful sorcerer. A 9-star sorcerer, in fact. The very same guy who couldn't even get into the banquet. Jyn sees this whole mess as a learning experience. You and I just saw why. Andre prepares to strike her down. She tries to dodge, but suddenly finds her ability to fly is just gone. Now, stick with me here. This is a special trick from servants of the Wind God. They can ground any flying creature they want. With Queel stuck on the ground, Beretta prepares a massive energy beam to finish her off. Not that the Silver Dragon cares. She's way too confident she can tank the hit. Andre adds his own powerful lightning storm to the dragon's beam. The combined attack is so huge, it even has Jyn worried, but Murakin tells him to have faith. He knows they're the ones who have underestimated her true power. And in this critical moment, the Silver Dragon unleashes her overwhelming control, freezing time itself in its tracks. She stops the spell cold, completely stunning Andre. But there's more. She promises to rip him to pieces by the end of this. Andre orders Beretta to attack again. But to his shock, the Wind Dragon is frozen solid in place. The Silver Dragon's insane level of control has just given her the ultimate upper hand. She absolutely unleashes on Beretta while he's completely immobilized, slicing him apart piece by piece. Cantle taunts him, asking where all that big talk from a second ago went. Beretta's wing is torn clean off its body as the Silver Dragon continues her brutal assault. She's ready to kill his precious dragon right in front of him. But even Kikantel has burned through too much of her divine power. She's going to need her friend's help to stop the minor patriarch. And I know what you're thinking. This is it, right? Wrong. Andre threatens to use the Origin Stone, a powerful artifact that was supposedly destroyed ages ago. There's no way the Xiles should possess an object this cursed. The monster unleashes its fury, shocking even the likes of the Silver Dragon. The Xyle sorcerer declares a new age of domination for his entire clan. The creature born from the stone inflicts a massive wound on Quientel's body. Turns out the origin stone was a safety measure the gods created to prevent the world's destruction. It holds the shared power of all the gods, packed into one simple object. But the origin stone was destroyed because even they feared it could be used to destroy the world instead. Murakin can't believe an item so ancient has returned from utter destruction. Quantel is severely wounded and in no shape to continue this fight. Enraged, Murakin drops the act and reveals himself to protect her. And trust me, his entrance changes everything. Since only 2 dark dragons exist in this world, Andre knows it's Murakin, the guardian dragon of the Runcandell family. From there, Andre immediately figures out Jyn's true identity as well. Andre just realized he's got a much bigger prize to catch now. The Wind Dragon gets its power back as the Origin Stone corrupts it with raw, chaotic might. Even Murakin is stunned to see Badaz's resurrection. The 2 dragons immediately clash in a brutal, head-on brawl. Badaz lunges to destroy Murakin, who counters with a powerful punch, but his attack is blocked easily by Barada, who just mocks him, calling him an easy fight. Barada is absolutely giddy that he gets to be the one to take down the strongest dragon of the past. While they're fighting, Andre approaches the injured Silver Dragon with his Origin Stone spirit. But while he's distracted, Jyn prepares a sneak attack with the light magic technique of Chenmi. The spell completely blinds the sorcerer, whose body is then cut down by Jyn's sword. Badaz rushes to Jyn's position and smashes him with its powerful tail, sending the young knight crashing into the ground. He can barely even get back to his feet. And just as 2 more attacks rocket towards him, stick with me because Jyn feels it. The absolute need to use Luna's stone, he summons the legendary White Whale. The ultimate trump card of the Runcandell family, here to end her brother's greatest challenge. When Jyn jumped into this fight, he knew his odds of survival were slim to none. He ignored Barada and made Andre his main target, but now even Andre is stunned. Frozen by her sudden appearance, Luna, on the other hand, is thrilled to be in a real fight. She's even impressed her little brother could hang with enemies this strong. Jyn is just grateful. Without her help, that would have been the end for him. And Luna, she's beyond pissed. Andre better have a really good reason for this. A reason for attacking her baby brother. I mean, they're fighting a minor clan leader. From the Zippel clan, not to mention a wind dragon armed with a divine artifact. Let's be real, Jyn wasn't sure they could survive this fight to begin with. But from the moment she arrived, the outcome of this battle was set in stone. Luna alone is more powerful than everyone else here combined, period. Murakin grabs Quantel, telling him to stay far, far away from this fight. He's completely stunned by Luna's entrance, which saved him at the last second. Andre is just happy to see living proof that the Runcandells broke their pact. He can't wait to report Jyn's magic to his clan, but the confident Luna isn't worried. She's going to make damn sure he never leaves this battlefield alive. So Andre sends his cursed spirit to attack Luna. The result, instant annihilation. It's blown to smithereens. Luna has fought plenty of Zippels in her time, and she has never once been impressed by any of their sorcerers. In a single flash, she slices right through Barada's dragon form. She hits him so hard he's forced back into his human form, but Barada readies himself. Preparing for close quarters combat, his power surging with cursed demonic energy. Luna realizes that the origin stone he's using comes with a heavy price tag. She thinks it's pathetic, seeing this minor clan leader backed into a corner. So desperate he's become a slave to a cheap power-up, Barada charges with his spear. The white whale dodges like it's nothing and counters with a smile. She tears right through Barada's defenses, sending him flying backwards. Even the wind dragon is no match for her brutal, razor-sharp attacks. And now she's had enough fun. time to see a Runcandell finishing move. Luna calls forth a meteor shower. Remember what we heard earlier. The Runcandell fighting style is built on one thing: unstoppable destruction. It's the very definition of overwhelming power. The Runcandells fight simply. They only have two kinds of moves in their arsenal: hidden moves and finishing moves. Luna has just unleashed the clan's third finishing move. A beautiful meteor shower that leaves even her own brother completely awestruck. But more than its beauty, this attack is pure wrath. Andre is terrified. Barada uses every last drop of strength he has just to guard him. The clan leader shudders in defeat, realizing this one human is crushing him. The power difference is just humiliating. The best part, Luna isn't using any cheats. No ancient artifacts, nothing, she's just a monster. Barada thinks he might have a chance, thanks to a demon stone that revives him. By the end of her attack, you and I are left watching Luna, looking disappointed. Pieces, but it's nothing compared to her father's overwhelming power. She wants this to be an important lesson for her baby brother, and you and I are about to see it firsthand. Luna is dead certain her brother can handle Kieran's might, but her own battle is far from over. A strange demon steps up. An unidentifiable creature of the Ziffel. Murin theorizes the Ziffels managed to create their own origin stone, thanks to their contractor's insane powers. He wants to escape to avoid getting caught in the crossfire, but Jyn worries for Luna's safety. Especially if she's fighting the incarnation of an origin stone. Murakin, however, corrects Jyn, telling him he'll just be a burden in this fight if he doesn't let his sister handle this. The youngest Runcandell then thinks back to how he became a contractor for the God of Shadows. He had the best potential out of everyone and more gifts than he could ever ask for. Still, Jyn is furious that he can't salvage this situation by himself. And here's where it gets real. It's beneath him to accept retreating when he hasn't contributed a thing. It's just like how things ended for him in his previous life. All his thoughts boil down to one single emotion: anger. He refuses to be this weak ever again. Murakin is glad to see the boy feeding his ambition to get stronger and stronger. After all, that's the motivation that will lead him to climb the ranks above everyone. As for Luna, she's underwhelmed by the demon who somehow thinks he can actually beat her this time around. However, she learns just how powerful the demon Andre has become when he unleashes a sinister beam strike. Luna defends with her sword while the demon laughs at her. But Luna calmly replies that all she needs is her sword to finish him. And while she has no interest in showing him her true power, Luna hopes to demonstrate what true mastery of the sword really is. She's the first knight to have ever wielded a red aura. Andre, arrogant in his demonic form, believes he has the advantage in this fight with his new godly powers. He readies a final attack, hoping to finish the Runcandell, but Luna is unshaken, and before long the words "Crimson Moon" escape her mouth. A beautiful splash of red severs the monster clean in half. But the attack leaves behind a black hole of energy that starts sucking everything nearby into its vortex. Luna knows she's in a pinch. Jyn rushes to help her, reaching out a hand to his older sister. And she thinks this makes them even for saving each other today. Meanwhile, Lotz arrives to report his investigations to the Vimeth Emperor. He talks about the mysterious vortex and the appearance of the wind dragon, Beretta. There is proof the dragon did not survive the fight. Lotz also picked up on the mana of a human, but couldn't figure out their identity. The vortex is still active. Unfortunately, Andre is completely missing. The Emperor grows incredibly frustrated with Lotz, who is failing him in so many ways. He wants to keep these sudden matters completely hidden from the media. He orders Lotz to arrange a unit to maintain their relationship with the Ziffels. Finally, Lotz is left with a warning. Amir is not looking for incomplete reports, and he makes his point very clear. As for Bishk and Bubar, they learn about the Silver Dragon's massive brawl against the Wind Dragon. The outcome was so big an entire island got decimated right off the map. And trust me, the news about the Origin Stone changes everything. Been destroyed, and Bubar is furious that they shattered his most precious piece, hinting pretty clearly that he's the one recreating the demonic stone. Bishkek reports their leader is pissed with how the seals are handling things, which means they're about to go rogue and ignore their orders. Meanwhile, the true patriarch of the Zeflo clan finally hears about Andre's fall, despite his overwhelming advantages. He wonders if an outside force had to intervene to defeat them. Talks of a dark dragon have already reached his ears, and Misha, the other dark dragon, who's also Murakin's sister, is so powerful she could have easily crushed that challenge. Now pay attention to this next part. The Zeflo patriarch orders his guardian dragon, Kadin, to hunt down the shadow dragons. He shows absolutely no concern for his brother Andre's death, because he knew his brother's arrogance would get him killed sooner or later. After all, that man was insolent enough to crash Kieran's banquet just on a whim. Kadin then recommends they create more demonic stones, calling them the only power source capable of actually defeating the Runcandell clan. Kilek Zefel has some grand ambitions to conquer the world and rise as the new god of the entire realm. Returning to our heroes, Jyn and the gang finally arrive back to Jill, who promptly faints the second she sees the Great Luna has become part of their mission. Jill is terrified for Jin's safety. He's getting into way more trouble than ever when he's supposed to be operating solo. Luna's just happy that someone truly cares about the boy. Then Kashmir also arrives to meet the elegant Luna Runcandell. He also meets the silver dragon Quincantal, who is in a seriously bad mood right now. Kashmir quickly pays his respects, realizing he could screw this up majorly like he did last time. But Quincantal cuts straight through the conversation. She's only worried about Enya's safety. Kashmir explains how Litri returned 3 hours ago. He's with both Enya and Yulia, but something about the dragon is off. The creature has no memory of being gone for an entire year. He doesn't remember anything past the moment Buretta took him away for magic lessons. And Murakin realizes the Zeflos wiped his memory. Yeah, let that sink in. They're erasing all proof of their crimes. They don't want the world to discover their schemes. So after a long explanation of how everything went down, Kashmir and Jill are finally up to speed. Murakin believes the only reason to create a demonic stone is simple. The clan wants to create its own god. They are currently in the process of absorbing powers from every god they can, just to crush anyone who stands in their way. That is the ultimate goal of Kilak Zefel. Quintal goes to check on Enya with Kashmir, while Jill sees Luna a second time and faints again. This poor nanny just can't handle the stress. Luna learns of all Jin's secret accomplishments in the short span of 3 months. And she thinks it's hilarious that he can't take any credit for his missions because he had to abuse his powers. The Runcandells would never forgive him for that. Jill is relieved that Luna plans to let them slide. But then Luna shocks them all by revealing that Kieran already knows everything. And he's just moments away from discovering Luna's involvement, too. While Jill is fearing for her life, Jyn explains he has the perfect story. He wants to go meet his father with Luna. It sounds like a great plan at first, but you and I both know it sounds absolutely insane to both women. He's taking his father away too lightly. Jyn just plans to give him a warning. Just a heads up about the Zeal scheme to wipe out the Runcandell clans. And while he's at it, tell him about the demon creation stones, too. But Luna reminds him, if he goes home now, he automatically fails the test. Jyn could not care less. He's hoping to cut some kind of deal with his father. For the first time, Luna's words are sharp, blunt, and straight to the point. She is genuinely terrified for the boy's life, but Jyn thinks she'll just step in before anything bad happens. Hearing him say that so casually, Luna walks up to him, her stare absolutely menacing. She's testing his resolve. And honestly, she's pissed. Now Luna understands why Jilly worries so much. She gives in and agrees to his plan. They'll leave tomorrow morning. Jill is completely confused. Why would Luna agree to help her brother? The answer is simple. She hates the clan's way of life, thriving on killing each other. Luna wants to be a real sibling to Jyn, to be his shield and defense. She's just praying he has a brilliant plan to survive this meeting. The next day, Jyn and Luna arrive back at Storm Castle, and the reception is frosty. Looks like Jin's big sister thinks he owes her for everything she's done. Fuego and the other flag-bearers immediately stand against Luna's decision. They're all way too ready for a confrontation, which means one thing. Kieran already knows they're back. Mary is furious that Jyn is throwing away his progress just to get himself killed early. Luna tries to explain Jyn came back on his own. But that just gets her judgment questioned for not being able to stop him. Against Luncha's sharp arguments, Luna has no comeback. Luncha is floored when she hears Jyn is going to see their father in person. The rest of his siblings even try to warn him he's walking straight into his own execution. Luncha sighs and grants him entry. But watch this, she immediately draws her sword right on Luna, demanding she hand over her weapon. Kieran wants to see Jyn alone. Luna furiously explodes, refusing to back down. So the other flag-bearers all move in, ready to take her down on Kieran's orders, but Jyn reassures Luna. He tells her he's just here to deliver some important information. He shows absolutely no fear of what's to come and just walks away. As he heads deeper into the castle, Jyn realizes none of his siblings truly get it. None of them understand their own father. He thinks he can earn his trust. All he has to do is play it cool. Jyn takes a deep breath and gently knocks. The result, let's just say you and I are about to see what happens. The door gets vaporized. For the first time, Kieran looks violently angry at his son. He literally forms a blade from pure aura, showing Jyn just how powerful his own skills could one day become. This isn't just a threat, it's a lesson disguised in raw intimidation. Jyn knows apologizing is the wrong move. He has to be bold. The boy says something none of Kieran's other children would ever dare to speak. He says he missed him. For a second, his father is affected, but he still calls him out for being weak. Jyn doubles down on the affection, but it's not getting him anywhere. Kieran unleashes his pure killing intent, a pressure so immense it freezes Jyn right where he stands. The father knows his son is here for a reason. Jyn reports that the minor patriarch of the Ziffel clan has been taken down. Stick with me, because Jyn is about to drop some major bombs on his dad. Kieran seems intrigued and allows his son the chance to speak his mind. Kieran listens to the countless adventures Jyn has had on his journey as a reserve flag bearer. He asks if Jyn is just here to brag about defeating one of the most powerful Ziffels. But Jyn argues that Andre was far from their strongest. Because even with Luna's incredible strength, there's no way the Ziffels could have been taken down that easily. The patriarch actually confirms his suspicions, adding that there's someone out there who is even stronger than Kilak, even more powerful than the leader of the Zial clan. But Jyn still hasn't mentioned the most crucial detail yet, the artifact he used in his battle against the Ziffels. The Stone of the Demon God, a mystical replica of the powerful origin stone which the gods themselves created. Then Kieran brings up Murakan, revealing he always knew about the Dark Dragon and even about the boy's unique ability to control mana. His father knew all his deepest secrets. Then he laughs in Jin's face because, and you're gonna love this, he didn't actually know. He completely manipulated our boy into spilling all his secrets. Kieran can't help but laugh that the world's strongest dragon is now just a cat. On a more serious note, Kieran needs to discuss the artifact with Luna. It's an incredibly dangerous object, and he wonders if the kings of the Dark Sea are aware of its powers. He feels an urgent need to return there and finish his mission. Kieran says Jin's unauthorized return will be forgiven. But it's clear that our boy wants something in return for all his accomplishments. Jyn makes his demand crystal clear. Not a single Runcandell is to ever set foot in the city of Tikkun, because that's where he will now operate. It's his new base of operations. Before agreeing, Kieran lays down one condition. He demands that Jyn succeed in forming a cooperative alliance with Kashmir. If he can pull that off, Kieran will honor his wish. But here's the thing, Kieran has no idea Jyn already completed that task. He calls Kashmir in, who looks like a lost puppy standing before the patriarch. Kashmir realizes he's standing in front of the strongest knight in the entire world. The pressure alone is immense, but he steels himself and pays his respects. Jyn coolly explains that the two of them are already well acquainted. In fact, they've already got a very cooperative relationship going. Meaning Jin's side of the deal is already fulfilled. Poor Kashmir is still panicking, thinking the Runcandells are here to completely take over Tikkun at any moment. And just like that, you and I saw Jyn pass an impossible test without even trying. When Kashmir finds out Jin's demand was to forbid any Runcandell from entering Tikkun, he's shocked and then incredibly relieved. Kieran has more to discuss. So he tells Jyn to take his leave while they talk. Poor Kashmir is absolutely terrified. Barely able to speak a word, meanwhile, Jyn strolls through the manor completely calm. The Tona twins are stunned to see him alive and in one piece. He asks them for a favor to look after his cadets while he's gone. After he leaves, they both can't believe how fearless he is, even after a meeting with their father. Jyn steps back outside completely unscathed, shocking the rest of his siblings. He tells Luna to go chat with Kieran, mocking his other siblings as he walks away. By keeping everything under wraps, Kashmir finally returns, but damn. This guy looks like he's been through absolute hell. Miu is furious that an outsider just waltzed into the Garden of Swords without permission. But Lunsha tells her to zip it since they've already done their part. With that, Jyn sincerely apologizes to his sister for all the trouble he's caused. He's leaving again to focus completely on his training, bidding his siblings a quick farewell. 1 month passes. In the underground training hall, Alyssa Badger is putting this man through the ringer. He's taken 30 straight losses against her, but his fighting spirit is nowhere near broken. He's ready to take his 31st defeat. Meanwhile, the Zeal clan publicly acknowledges the deaths of both Andre and the Wind Dragon. They didn't explain the cause, but rumors started flying about his assassination. The most believable story was that he fought and lost against the Runcandells. And of course, everyone thought a massive war was coming. Factions started showering the Runcandells with favors, hoping to get on their good side. Siren, being an absolute boss, turns down the gifts but accepts their requests anyway. He's playing the long game here. Unfortunately, Kieran is stuck cleaning up Jin's mess because of all these bold moves. He tells Khan he's returning to the Dark Sea. But it seems Kashmir is tied up in a serious talk with the Patriarch. So he wants his message delivered, even if he's out fighting monsters in the Dark Sea. Back to Jin's training, where he's grinding his swordsmanship. Even after swinging his weapon 10,000 times, he still feels like he can't even touch Luna. And this is where you can really feel his insane drive. Despite hitting 5 stars in both sword and magic, Jyn is completely unimpressed with himself. He is working to the bone to surpass his siblings within the 5 years he was given. Kashmir is worried, seeing him overtrained despite his natural Runandell talent. Enya also shows up for a surprise visit, and she's concerned too. Jin's hands are swollen, raw, and bleeding. Kashmir reminds him that his future enemies will be way stronger. But he's more likely to destroy himself first by being so impatient. Let's be real, it's like ego lifting beyond his actual level. Jyn admits that he knows he's in the wrong here. He just can't stop himself from going all out, but Kashmir thinks he should be proud of how hard he's pushing. So he offers to add something fun to his training routine. The recommendation: spar against a truly powerful opponent. Jyn immediately thinks Kashmir is challenging him to a duel. Because even though he acts like a coward, everyone knows Kashmir is a monster with a sword. There's a reason they call him the Phantom Sword, and why he was chosen as a Runandell instructor. Kashmir says he'll fight him when he's ready, but before Jyn can reach that level, he has a different opponent to face. And that's how his wife, Alyssa, enters the picture. Now you're going to want to see this. Jyn is given 6 months to try and defeat Alyssa. He's given full permission to use every single skill he has, no holding back. Their daughter Julia gets scared, not wanting her mother to fight, but Alyssa welcomes it. At first, our boy isn't too impressed with Alyssa, aside from her obviously strong physique. Well, that is, until Julia roasts him so hard by calling him weak. A tough sell, especially when you realize our girl is physically unable to speak. But no, Alyssa was all in, ready to challenge Jyn daily for 6 straight months. She didn't see it as a burden at all. 2 days later, Jyn stands before this absolute powerhouse of a woman. She lays down her one rule. Never go easy on anyone. Alyssa just hopes Jyn doesn't lose his nerve after this first loss. And right here, he finally gets it. Beating her in 6 months is actually a realistic goal. The fight kicks off, and a single punch from Alyssa takes everything in Jyn's arsenal just to block. She's impressed he could even counter the move. Jyn follows up with light magic, blinding her for a split second. Then he lunges forward to strike, leaving a massive opening, and you and I both know what happens next. He messed up. Alyssa unleashes a punch so powerful that it sends our boy flying. Still, she's impressed Jyn managed to land 2 attacks on his very first day. Even though she held back on that first punch, Alyssa was surprised by Jyn's blinding spell, which he'd cast on his sword before the match even started. But his tricks weren't nearly enough to beat Alyssa's raw power. Even so, she can tell he's using strategy to his advantage. That's how he's taken down opponents who were way stronger than him. It's not that Jyn is just overpowered. It's that he has mastered the art of creating his own opportunities. While she's impressed, Jyn feels completely defeated. He used every single trick he had and still got shamefully beaten. This is the insane level of difficulty he's up against, the monster he needs to overcome in the next 6 months. And for both fighters, it's thrilling. Now pay attention. A month passes, and we jump back to Kieran's fight against the monsters of the Dark Sea. Khan arrives, carrying an important message from Kashmir. The letter is written with so much flowery detail that it looks more like a love confession than a report. Sharon is seriously pissed off because Kashmir didn't follow his orders. He wanted a simple update on Jyn's progress. The letter is mostly just fluff, but it does have one useful part about Jyn's training. It mentions how Jyn has been losing over and over again. Against Alyssa, but with every fight, he's able to last just a little longer. He's racked up 40 losses in a row. But something about this report makes Kieran incredibly happy. The Patriarch learns that Jyn lasted over 120 moves in their most recent fight. It means he's giving it his all to shatter his own limits. Kieran is so damn proud of his son that he almost regrets letting the boy leave the clan, now deeming him worthy enough to be his successor. It's never been clear which of his children he truly wants to take over. Even though Joshua is the frontrunner for the throne, it's not because the Patriarch is personally interested in him. Khan points out that Jyn is way too young to be considered a worthy candidate just yet. He thinks Jyn lacks ferocity and a killer instinct, the only areas where Joshua has the upper hand. Before sending Khan off, the Patriarch asks why the letter arrived 10 days late. Khan explains he was busy fighting off monsters along the way. So the Patriarch unleashes his blade, tearing the landscape apart and instantly clearing a safe path for Khan's return trip. He expects the next messages to be delivered much faster. Back to Jyn's training, he has now fought Alyssa over 90 times. And trust me, with every single match, he's becoming a completely different beast. Stick with me because this is what it takes to overcome a legend's strength, no breaks. Instead of enjoying dessert, Jyn is back to the grind, sharpening his speed. And his growth, Alyssa watches, realizing his aura is in perfect sync with Mana. It's that shadow force skyrocketing his progress, but she thinks to herself, all that raw talent would mean nothing without his relentless drive to get better. His perseverance is the real key, and Alyssa, she's smiling, actually predicting her own. Defeat is coming very soon. The next day, they clash, exchanging blow for blow. You're gonna want to see this. Alyssa thinks she has the upper hand, but then bam. A brutal slash, a critical strike wounds her deeply. She hasn't been injured. In a very long time, Jyn calls for an yeah, thinking he only won by a stroke of luck. He knows she could have dodged, but she went all in, way too aggressively. He was just careful enough to outplay her with shadow force. Alice's skills are getting rusty. Retirement has made her sloppy. She lost far sooner than she expected, but for Jyn, it's not enough. He refuses to call this a real victory. That's a champion mindset. Alyssa points out that it's still a massive deal to even think about. Jin's improvement over the past 3 months has been completely off the charts. His endless desire to improve is what fuels his training, and he's aiming for 6 stars. That will be the moment he truly defeats her, and just like that, winter arrives. We find Murakin enjoying an ice pop, even though it's freezing outside. He was planning on getting some for Gilly, since she loves them. Okay, the story's about to get way more complex. Jyn has to talk with Kashmir. It's about Pitchell, the lead candidate to succeed his clan's leadership. Kashmir explains that there are hints Pitchell is cooperating with the K-Zalo. He's been seen at a special workshop owned by Bubé, a K-Zalo officer. And from the looks of it, Bubé actually has a higher rank in the organization. Which explains why Pitchell was the one sent to fight in his place at the banquet. But Jin's real worry is the K-Zalo's connection with Pitchell's clan. He remembers from his past life that all the major clans had a hell of a time dealing with the K-Zalo, which just proves how strong they really are. While Yuria is annoying the heck out of Murakin, Jyn asks if Kashmir found anything. Specifically, info on Alu, the fallen owner of the auction house. Apparently nothing. Not a single thing about him is public. Jyn figures someone is actively working to cover this guy's tracks. He almost regrets killing him so fast. Our boy is grateful for Kashmir being his ultimate info guy. He's in his debt. As for Jyn, it's time to spar with Alyssa again, but this time, he's got an idea. He wants Kashmir to come and witness the results of all his hard work. In the training arena, Alyssa definitely wasn't expecting her husband to watch her lose. After all, she is 100% confident that Jyn will defeat her today. Jyn says he'll forever remember her as an amazing training partner and a true friend. Kashmir is just absolutely stunned. He can't believe Jyn reached this level in 3 months. And here it is, the fight begins, and Jyn calls forth his brand new summon skill. A beautiful, massive shadow phoenix explodes into existence from pure magic. After a sorcerer reaches 6 stars in magic, they qualify to form a pact with a phoenix. This pact is kept top secret, as only that sorcerer can open the gate to summon it. But here's the crazy part, it's actually the phoenix who chooses the sorcerer. Which is why every magician dreams of being chosen one day. But among all phoenixes, one is the rarest of all, the blue phoenix. Tess, this legendary bird, has only ever answered the call of the strongest sorcerers in history. And with everything ready, Jyn and Alyssa's battle begins. Now, watch this. She lunges forward to absolutely crush him, but Tess strikes first with a high-level flame spell. But these aren't just any flames, they have a hidden effect. They start messing with Alyssa's powers. She realizes skill pressure is being used. She's on a timer now. Jyn rushes in, closing the distance and attacking her hard, putting her completely on the defensive. He overwhelms her with a wind spell. But Jyn has a plan. He's fought her enough to know she prefers a dominating style. She wants to control the fight fast, and you and I are about to see how Jyn uses that against her. He baits her in close, exploiting her rush with his superior sword skills. Then he follows up with fire magic, pushing Alyssa even further onto the back foot. She's trapped cornered by the Phoenix's flames and Jin's relentless assault. Alyssa knows dodging is useless now. This is a bad spot. So she unleashes her full power, catching his blade mid-swing and even tanking the flame attack head-on. Alyssa moves in for the kill, but Jyn is gone. Vanished, impossible. She was sure she felt his presence. Then it hits her, the pressure trait dulled her senses. And Jyn seizes that critical moment. He attacks and wins the fight, this time no question. Realizing he might have overdone it, Jyn quickly calls Enya for healing. After the match, Murakin and Quickentel are absolutely floored when they find out Jyn won. It rocked their world, but here's the thing, it wasn't because he beat Alyssa. It's because he summoned the Phoenix, Tess, itself. Quickentel just collapses to her knees at the sight.